Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of a Student of the Game podcast. As always, I am the student, Kevin, and today's episode, our teacher is actually going to be Skye. Skye, how you doing today?
What's up, man? I'm good.
Good. Hey, so it's a pleasure to have you on. I know there's a lot of different things that we want to dive into, both some of the crafts that you're currently working on and some business deals we've looked in on, so there's a lot to kind of chat on. But give us a little bit of a synopsis on kind of what you do.
Yeah, man, I'm just a content creator for the basics. I mean, I do podcasting, and that's how I got into it. But I do some videos here and there, YouTube, all that stuff, dude. Instagram, everything.
Yeah, you do some media as well.
Media, pretty much, yeah.
Nice, sweet. So as we get into things, I want to take a quick opportunity and talk about this episode's sponsor, Zevia zero-calorie sodas, which is actually an awesome alternative to drinking your standard carbonated sugars and different things that are, going to weigh you down. And, most of you guys who know me on a personal level know my kryptonite is soda. I do a great job at working out. I do a great job at staying active. I do a great job at kind of being out there and moving. But unfortunately, I crave sodas on a pretty consistent basis. So these guys were amazing enough to send me a couple cases to give it a go. So we're going to actually drink this on today's episode. And, yeah, we got a couple options. They sent us over their creamy root beer as well as their cherry cola. So we'll see how those dive into. But for those of you guys looking to get into something that is a little bit more health conscious, a little bit lighter on you, it's not going to weigh you down, it's not going to have you taking in 60 grams a bottle of sugar per drink. Check it out. Go to Zevia.com, and I know they've got promotions based on bulk purchases. So Skye, so how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. You want to tell you why you crave soda, dude?
Yeah, give it to me, man.
You don't freaking drink water, bro.
Here's the thing. Everything has water in it,
Dude, oh my gosh. Okay.
Let me give you an example, right? I'm going to drink this glass of whiskey, right? And at some point, this ice is going to melt. And that means I'm going to drink water. I get my water in. I'm going to pick between these. I'm going to go with the cherry cola.
Whatever, dude.
Okay, so, Skye, talk to us about, the bulk of kind of what you do. Actually, let's start with kind of how we met. I think that would be a cool starting point that will segue into things.
Well, you want to talk about like my co-host, how we met, or like the fact that I started the podcast?
No, let's go both. Because the reason I say let's go both is because I hear there's some news regarding your co-host.
Yeah, man, there is some news there for sure. It's kind of sad, but anyway. So yeah, I met Kevin because really we were kind of friends on social media. Just because of the co-host that I have, his wife, they grew up together, I guess, near Houston, right?
Yep.
And I would see you on, Insta and all this stuff every once in a while, whatever. I kind of asked him who he was and who you were and stuff like that. But
asking about me.
No, I was just like, who's this guy? You wore you have a red suit or something on your social media, like profile pic.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that, dude?
Yeah,
that was my.
I wear them, man.
That was my thing.
Look, one thing I say, right? I was watching an interview John Morant did, and it blew up because he was talking about how he said he could beat MJ 1-on-1, and the comment he gave was, "Don't nobody got more confidence than 12," right? And it's like when you see me in a lot of different things and what I wear and how I dress and I've been labeled, I remember when I was in Austin, people labeled me as a Metro, which I didn't know what a Metro was at the time. But I discovered it was a guy who's straight but could dress gay.
Yeah.
And the reality is my confidence is unmatched.
It's just GQ, dude.
My confidence is just, it's very, I don't mean this to be arrogant, but it's very unwaverly.
Well, here's the thing, dude. Wearing stuff like that also can boost your confidence. In my opinion, it does. Like, if I wear a certain thing, I promise you, if I wear a certain thing, I feel, more empowered, more like able to walk into a room and do what I need to do or whatever. So random, but whatever.
I think, and one of the things I want to remind everyone quickly is kind of our relationship kind of takes us sporadically off the place, and it's my job to bring it back in. But there is one thing that I did want to talk about as we get into business and entrepreneurship, and the focal point of our podcast is the confidence aspect. And I was having a conversation with a good buddy of mine, and this is not a knock on anyone, but I firmly believe there are two types of people who are confident. I believe there are innate natural alpha males, those who it's in your DNA, it's who you are, it's very likely a part of your upbringing, and no matter what you do, you can't shake it. And I also believe there are people who have consciously decided to become that, whether that be I had a rough childhood, or I used to get bullied, and I no longer want that. So they're still confident alpha males, but it's not in their DNA. It's not hardwired in them. They're decisions that they make. So in contradiction to the comment you made of, hey, I think dressing like that could increase it, I do believe that for those people, who have made the decision at life that they want to become an alpha male. And there's no knock to that, right?
No, I know. That'd be literally be, so you're the guy that has an innate, apparently, and then I'm the guy that, I make decisions because I need to make that happen.
Here's the reality, right? If
sense.
you third party met us, confidence is confidence. It exuberates off you. You don't, the origin of it is irrelevant, and quite frankly, the decisiveness doesn't really matter. If you either are or you aren't. But I do believe if you look and kind of follow that rabbit hole, you will discover that those are two different groups, right? There's type A, type B. And type A, it's, that's just who they are. And again, I don't knock it because it's not your fault, right? It's like if naturally you just were always in a leadership position, and for me, I think it was very innate because I grew up as an athlete. I grew up playing sports. I grew up in positions of leadership. That it just kind of became who I was.
Yeah, and I didn't. I was more of a kind of creative dude, and so it makes sense. Totally agree.
And at some point in life, whether it be young, old, now, you make a choice that, okay, I want to become a confident person. I want to become an alpha male.
And for me, it was about, like, what I want to achieve in life.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do that not being confident.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, achieve anything, anything.
Yeah,
you got to get into it.
At the same time, though, I think in response to that, one of the things that I've learned, and I don't know if I've talked about it on the show before, one of the things that I learned was not everyone is going to be a leader. And there are people who are going to be very great at mastering their role as role players. And, I was actually watching an interview of Kenny Smith, and he was talking about it. And he was like, once you discover and find out that you're not going to be a team captain, you're not going to be the dog, the man, you need to accept your role. You need to embrace it, and then you need to master it. And that's a process that takes time. And I just think,
a lot of freaking time.
I think people who are natural leaders, similar to what I say about competitive nature, I just always believed before I matured, everyone had it, but they were choosing not to use it. And one day I realized, you just don't have it. And that's okay. As long as you understand, hey, I may need to be metaphorically a corner shooter.
Yeah, and I think there's strengths in every position, right?
Yeah.
And if you realize that, then you won't be so hard on yourself, like the restaurant thing we were doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to me being creative. Look, here's the thing.
Creative.
You brought me on, going back to how we met kind of thing. You said, hey, I want to start this freaking podcast, dude. What are you up to? Come help me, basically. I was like, yeah, I got you, bro. So we did all this, and that's really, I think that's kind of where we actually met, because before that we were kind of acquaintances or whatever. I never had seen you really, like in person or whatever, and that's kind of how I got to know you that way. So
nice. Well, one of the things I want to bring up as we talk about this, the beginning of this relationship, is your aura and your presence and how critical that is. Because I firmly believe, had my presence not been what it was, and I reached out, because there's a lot of people in the world who do reach out for help. There's a lot of people in the world who have access and have, the ability to go, hey, can you assist me? Can you teach me? Can you show me things? But their confidence, their aura, their presence, their stature, the things that illuminate off them don't show what I declare, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful, they don't show potential. And when you start to reach for talent, they want to see you have potential. I don't care how great of an individual you are. At the end of the day, everything has give and take. For me to give something to you, whether that be time, effort, energy, resources, that's taking from somewhere else.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I looked into it. Like you said, hey, can you help me out? And I was like, who is this guy, really?
Yeah.
I went a little bit deeper, to figure it out.
To see if it was a waste of your time.
Yeah, is it going to be a waste of my time? I don't know. And I'm all about helping people. I'm all about it, dude, because that's literally how this thing grows. Podcasting is really built around that, community in a way. So it's like, dude, I love podcasting. Why would I not help somebody make another podcast? Of course.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't want to make it something where it's like, oh, I'm just doing this, and, it might go somewhere, it might not, whatever, and, you're not serious. And, dude, I knew it. And as soon as I saw you, I'm like, oh, dude, this guy. I walk into this freaking place, dude. I'm like, yeah, this guy's got it, dude.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, nice. Well, one of the things that was cool was, and I don't know if anyone has got the opportunity to kind of see it in our production. Evan does a hell of a job editing. But, the goal was to do it at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? The goal was, how can we maximize our production value.
Dude, you
I
were
didn't
like
want,
gear list, and I'm like, okay, let me tell you the stuff you could use, and you're like, no.
Yeah,
what
he's
are you
like-
doing? What are you doing?
he's like-
look, I give you the max shit. Bro.
Yeah, he
I'm
was like,
okay,
hey, dude,
man.
you can. He was like, you could fucking do it with your phone. You just got to get a
Dude,
tripod.
that's what it's all about, man. Do how you do, you know.
And I was like, I'm not using my fucking phone,
There
dude.
are
We're
fa-
getting cameras.
There are famous podcasts like Andrew Huberman. He's
hey,
a PhD.
Edwin,
He's
triple view that motherfucker. Show him we got 3 cameras. Go boom, boom, boom. Hit him for that. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not using my fucking phone. All right.
Nah, but like, okay, all right, but there are literally like amazing podcasts that the guy, like, you can hear it when he backs up. It's like echo, and like you don't know what's going on, and it's not the best quality ever.
Yeah.
People are craving passion and like truth. People are craving that.
Yeah.
And you can't lie really about passion.
No.
And so when you get on a podcast and you talk about stuff and you're doing it, they can tell. People can freaking hear it in your voice without even watching you.
Yeah, but here's the reality, right? After a couple episodes, for anyone who's watched more than one episode, you start to gather someone's mentality. You start to gather their being. You start to gather the way
sure.
they move. You start to gather what their core values are.
It takes a lot. That's why it's so important to
It
have
takes
the long
time.
episodes, dude.
Yeah, and for me, I firmly believe personally, and I can't obviously say this, but I believe it's very obvious to people that my core value is to be the best at what I do. And
Right.
for me to be the best at doing this meant let's get the good stuff.
You're dropping it. No, I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
You did it.
I didn't want to bullshit it, because then how could I come on here and preach, maximize your potential, do everything that you're supposed to do, play to win, and then be
That's a good point.
tiptoe.
The topic or the genre you chose, obviously you got to do it. I get it.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
makes sense.
It's not like I came out here and I was grabbing, my stripper friends and talking about their life as strippers, and what they got to do to make money on
Dude,
OnlyFans.
Some strippers, man, interesting lives.
Yeah, until the IRS come looking for them. Until
Evade
COVID
those
hit and their
taxes, dude.
unemployment wasn't very good.
Yeah,
You know?
no, that's true, man. Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah,
give
that's
me
crazy.
give me a little insight to what your podcast is about. I think talk to us about that.
Yeah, man. So my podcast started out,
It's called Short Man with a Beard, right? Is that what it's called?
You got it, dude. Yeah, 5'8", white guy. Yeah. No, dude. It's just to give a quick summary, dude. I went to jail for some stuff. I don't even want to talk about it. It doesn't really matter. And I decided I want to make an impact. So
Just prostitution.
yeah, dude. Yes, of course it is. Dude.
Yeah,
It'll get you, dude. It'll freaking get you, bro. Fort Worth, man.
Yeah, I know.
They know what they're doing out there, dude.
I know.
All jokes aside, no, it was a. It doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter. So I wanted to make an
Scared
impact.
to tell us or what?
No, I'm not scared to tell you. It's a stupid thing, man.
But here's the reality, right? Aren't most arrests for people who are not bums?
Okay, you're right. I was freaking 23, dude. I got a DWI, but the shitty part is that like somehow I was in jail for 4 days versus just being there overnight and then getting the judge to tell me what I needed to do. So it was just a freaking issue. It was a whole fiasco, dude.
Okay.
Whatever, dude. It wasn't a big deal. I wasn't like in jail, like you know what I'm saying. I wasn't really there for a long time.
Were you in your regular clothes, or did you get?
No, they take everything, but you have your clothes you walked in with. So, like, I had a hoodie, thank goodness, right? Because, like, if you're on the concrete, like your floor right now, right?
Yeah, but are we talking a holding cell, or did you get a cell?
Oh, I got a cell, yeah.
So you weren't in a
well,
holding
I was
cell.
in a holding cell until literally, like, 6 hours before I freaking got let
And
out.
then you got a cell.
So dumb,
So you
dude.
spent 3 days in a holding cell.
Bro, but you get in there, dude. Oh, my gosh. The commissary, dude. You know what that's all about?
You don't get commissary in a holding cell.
No, you don't. But when I got into the cell,
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, this guy
yeah.
has a Mr. Pibb and ramen, bro. And
Yeah.
they're playing cards. I'm like, this shit.
So
What's so bad about this?
to bring, I do want to say this, right? Because obviously I went to jail at a young age as well.
Yeah.
The holding cell is tough because it's cold.
Oh yeah, there's nothing there, dude.
I mean,
It's,
it
that's why I was glad I had a hoodie, bro, and I
It is
used that to
cold.
sleep on it and shit.
And
crazy.
I slept on my shoe. I use my shoe as a pillow. I mean, it is cold. Floors are hard. They bring you these frozen sandwiches.
Yeah.
Weird story. When I was in jail at a young age, they brought out these sandwiches. These sandwiches were frozen, right? I was starving, so I tried to eat it. And this guy was laughing at me, and I'm like, "Fuck you laughing at?" Right? And long story short, he was sleeping on it. He was like, I thought he was using it because it was soft. I was using my shoe. He's like, "No, you got to warm it up, bro. Like,
Yeah,
this is how you warm it up."
it's frozen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's frozen.
It's interesting.
And it's just meat, a piece of ham,
Mm-hmm.
and cheese.
A piece of ham. It's like fake ham, bro.
Processed cheese.
Yeah, it's probably all those.
There's nothing.
processed,
There's
bro.
no mustard. There's no mayo. I
Look.
mean, you ever had that sandwich at the pool where it sticks to the root of your mouth right up top, and like a dog?
It's like Wonder Bread. Dude.
Yeah, that's
Wonder
the
bread.
sandwich
It's the
it
sugar
was.
bread, basically. And
They
it's
brought.
just like,
They give you this sandwich. They give you this oatmeal cream pie. And the oatmeal cream pie in there was in the holding cells before you get to your cell. The oatmeal cream pie was gold. Guys were trading
slaps,
that.
dude.
And then they give you and then they give you the packet of Kool-Aid, right? The little small single serve
didn't
packet.
get that.
But the problem is they don't give you a cup. There's no cup. They just give you the
where were you
packet.
in jail at?
I was in Harris County.
Dude, that's
Houston.
why. Freaking huge ass county.
Yeah,
I was
huge.
in Tarrant County,
It's
bro.
huge.
They
Harris
were like,
County's
here's the
huge.
sandwich, and then you get a honey bun in the morning, and then milk.
Harris County's huge. It was I think for the first 12 hours in holding, they moved us 6 times. So it was about every 3 hours, you know, in that rough area, they would move you to a different one, 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 just to kind of keep everybody on the edge from being in cahoots and all that good stuff. And that was probably the most taxing thing ever because, in all honesty, you just want to sleep. You just want to sleep till you can get a cell. You just want to get your cell so you can just.
Shit, I wanted to sleep till I was out.
Well, you know, you don't know, right? It's not in your control.
I
But
guess not. Yeah, you're right.
getting moved every hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours was the worst part because you just, dude, I just want to get out of here.
Well, so anyway, I did that, and that was, you know, whatever. In the cell, I'm thinking, like, where am I at? Why am I here kind of thing, you know? That whole freaking thing, whatever. It's cliche, but, you know, I was like, this isn't what I want, you know, what am I doing?
What were you doing with your career at the time?
I was working on BMWs.
Okay.
And so, like, that was my thing. That had always been my thing. It's my freaking dream, dude, and I made that happen, and it was fun. I'm not going to lie. I still love working on cars, you know. It's still a passion. I love cars. But when I was in there, I'm like, man, I'm set for something better. You know, that whole speech I gave myself, you know, prep and whatever. And, yeah, I got out, and, like, literally it was like, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to tell people about? How do I want to make this impact? And it was the podcast.
So, in your podcast was I know you're shifting the dynamic of it now, but it was centered specifically around politics.
Yeah,
right?
well, check this out. So when I first started, it was actually investing in finance, but I deleted all those episodes.
Well, they weren't good, right?
No, they weren't that good, dude. Dude, oh my gosh, I can't stress this enough, bro. If you're trying to start a podcast, anyone listening, like, you cannot stress the small stuff first of all, and you got to start. But you know, you have to know that it will sound like shit. Whenever you go back and listen, bro, you'll be like, oh, this wasn't whatever.
So we've had
and I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, no, I wanted to hit the ground running and do it right.
Well, yeah, but I was
That's
also
fine.
going to challenge that. We've had I think 2 people on who have podcasts, and they have said they don't watch their episodes. And I've also talked to a lot of people, and most people don't watch their episodes. So they don't know how they sound. And quite frankly, it's very different for me because, you know, Edwin and I talk about it, again, my production manager.
That's like not watching game footage, bro.
That's my point.
Why the heck would you not watch your stuff?
I watch every episode, and I critique myself, and I go, I let this skew too much, or I reeled this back in too fast, or I didn't let that person talk enough. To me, I equate it exactly what you said. It's like watching your game. You have to watch back your game and see your mistakes. As hard as it may be, right, and here's the reality. I know a lot of guys who don't watch their stuff because the moment it goes bad, they're like, I don't want to see this. You know, and I was watching an interview with Kobe. Kobe was doing an interview, and he was explaining how he was with Sue Bird, and she had lost the national championship, and she said that she didn't want to watch it. She said it was tough. And he said, you have to. And she said, I just don't think I can. So he said, all right, great, come on over. He invited her over, and he made them watch it together. And helped her, you know, go through the game footage, go through, you know, what she was doing wrong to prepare herself for the next one. But the truth of the matter is, it does take some mental discipline to be able to do that. Like, it's not as easy as just saying, especially when you do episodes that are an hour and a half, 2 hours long. It's not and you do them every week, right? So now you're trying to equip this into your weekly basis and your routine. It's not as easy as just saying, oh, you know, just watch it.
Yeah,
you know,
people
it takes
don't know
time.
how much time it takes to put 1 hour up.
It takes time.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
it takes a lot of
behind
time.
the scenes there.
100%, right?
Editing, obviously, and then you're deciding if it's good or not, and then you want to change it up or do something different or whatever, you know. So I get that. I totally agree with that.
So a lot of people, and my point is, a lot of people, they don't know if they're doing good or bad because they just. But again, there's a group of people in life, and maybe a lot of people who listen, but there's a group of people in life who avoid problems because it's too real. You know, there's so many people who think they're sick but don't go to the doctor because it'll become real.
Well, yeah, but then check this out. They'll listen to comments. You know, they'll listen to the freaking people that are going to give them feedback on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's another thing I would say. Like, you watch your own freaking podcast and you make it good and you have a vision for what you want and make that happen. But at the same time, you don't have to listen to some other dude that might say this is wrong or that's wrong. Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, but again,
you'll get in your own head.
Well, to me, it's all mental fortitude.
You know?
I mean, at the end of the day, to me, there's only one deciding factor of success or failure, and it's, did you accomplish what you set out for? Like, I have zero. I mean this with the utmost respect. I have zero give a fuck about anyone's opinion. If I accomplished what I set out for, I did it correctly. One of the things about this particular platform, this show, I've said this to people before. I don't give a shit if anyone watches. I really don't.
Right.
I'm here for the conversations with these individuals.
Right.
My entire commitment was to speak to people and learn from them. And I'm only doing this because some of you don't have access to the people who may sit here.
Boom.
I really don't care if anyone watches. At the end of the day, the value that I'm getting from this is being able to sit next to people and learn from their success and failures.
Well, what's interesting? I would think that's similar in a lot of podcasts that don't even have to do with business. Like most people that start a podcast, they do want to talk to people and they do want to learn these things, but they just end up doing it, showing it to people. Why not?
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to not do that, and it's good for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the way I did it was the investing thing first, and then I was like, like what you said, it wasn't really achieving the goal I wanted. So you kind of had to sit back and relax, and then just say, "This isn't it."
So how'd you get in? What made you get into politics?
Well, honestly, my co-host kind of like did that a little bit. I guess now old co-host.
Did
your
that, ex-co-host.
Ex-co-host, yeah. But he, he was talking about some stuff, and he knew what he was talking about, and I was like, well, it's interesting. And then I want to make an impact. And making an impact. I don't know if it's the first thing that comes to people's minds, but it was pretty quick on my mind was politics, policy. People make these decisions for all of us somehow. We're just out here on their whim or whatever. You get a little bit deeper into it and you realize that it doesn't matter anyway. But that's a black pill, so I won't even go there. But
it's a dark hole of conversation.
Yeah, it is. But I did that because he talked about it and he got me into it basically by being so passionate about it. Mm-hmm. But he also taught me a little bit about why it matters in a way.
Yeah.
But then him and also along with one of my best friends growing up, I was never into politics at all, and it was a thing of I'm independent. I've always been the guy that's independent because I like talking to people. And what's funny about that is politicians love talking to people too.
Yeah.
But somehow they chose a side and they do all this stuff the way they do it. I like talking to people, but I want people to like me as well. Mm-hmm. I want charisma,
Yeah.
And so it's like if I go in there, I can say what I believe and kind of what I stand for, but I don't have to make it a politic thing. I don't have to say this has to be with this government or that government or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was my main thing growing up. Well, he taught me, he's like, no, you got to vote, because I had never voted, That was one of those things. Going into some political talk or whatever. But, dude, long story short there, man, they got me into it. I said, let's do it. And then I just freaking started running.
And then it became a passion.
And then it became a passion, kind of think through that.
Well, let me ask you this. What's up with your boy Joe?
Who the hell is Joe,
What's up with your boy Joe Byron, man?
Why you got to say Joe? Oh, Joe Byron, dude. My boy Joe Byron.
What's up with your boy Joe, man?
He's nobody's Joe Byron, bro. Right now, have you seen the freaking polling?
Yeah, so one of the things I definitely want to talk to you about was what are your thoughts on what are the Democrats going to do? And there's a lot of speculation out there, but the reality is, the only person's approval rating lower than his is Kamala Harris.
All right, so you ready for this? So Democrats had a very good chance. Roe v. Wade, I'm going to bring that up. Not for anything intense. I'm not bringing that audience. If you're listening, I'm not going to get into that talk. But just to bring up that specific thing. Because Democrats had a chance. They've had a chance to put it into law that it is a federal law that abortion is legal. So, because they have everything. Democrats have everything, right? And that was a promise that they gave. They said, you know what? We're going to do this for y'all. But guess what didn't happen? That.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they sat on their hands and thought, oh, it will never happen. Supreme Court will never take that. But the other idea that I have is that, no, they did that on purpose. Why do they do that on purpose? Because they need more wins right now.
Yeah, they've taken a beating.
They chose
for 2
Joe
years.
Biden, and I think they already freaking knew. They were ready. And they need to win. So Roe v. Wade came up, and they didn't worry about it. You know why? Because it fires up their base.
Yeah, well, I think those are
more than their base. Actually.
But I think
there's a lot of center people that are into that.
But let me tell you, I think there's 2 or 3 different situations in there. Number one, which you got to, I don't think anyone, including the entire Democratic Party, thought Joe was going to unravel as quickly, as fastly, and as promptly as he did.
Really? Interesting.
I think this is what I think. I think there were signs. and this is my honest belief and opinion, right? This is not factual based, this is my opinion. There were signs of dementia, but it happened fast. And I don't believe it was there prior. I do, and here's the reality, and here's the thing that you can never forget. When you talk about political parties, their goal is not to put the best person in office. Their goal is to win the office. So my goal is who has the best chances for us as a unit to win. I think every single person sitting in the Democratic Party knew Joe Biden was not going to be the best possibility in America for the country, but he was their best chance to win the office at that time. I don't think they knew how quickly that dementia was going to. I watched interviews before he took office, and I'm not saying they were killer or they were, Obama, but they weren't this. And then all of a sudden it hit. And keep in mind, the guy's old, right? All of a sudden, he was forgetting the sentence he was giving.
They had him on Adderall for sure, first of all.
100%.
During running.
100%.
And I don't know if they've just not kept that going or they can't keep it up the way they should anymore. And yeah, you can definitely see it. And I agree. I agree with that. Maybe you're right.
I don't think that they thought. Again, here's the reality, right?
This is less than 2 years in, or 2 years in.
Yeah, we're only 2 years in. We're only 2 years in. The next election is 2024. We're only 2 years in, and the reality is, the goal is not just to win this time. It's to win consistently. It's to try and have a Democrat sitting in the office as much and as long as possible. Period. Point blank. That's the game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the problem is that
they don't have anybody.
Now they don't. And that's the question I was going to get to, but I want to focus on this point first. Is now things have unraveled so bad that the entire Democratic Party is looking really bad. They look really bad.
Well, their own base, right? So Joe Biden, his student loan forgiveness program that he wanted to put into place.
Yeah.
That actually caught a majority of his base. So believe it or not, I don't know why that specific thing. We've known for decades that politicians will say things like that to lie and make their way to it.
Yeah, but that's to office, not in office.
You're right, but he did it, and they were like, "You're in, that's awesome." And then, his younger base, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, that whole younger base, the college age group and up, like my age, they're done. They're out because literally time and time again they have promised and not delivered.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, but you also got to, and the one thing I hate to say, but you also have to take into account that the vast majority of citizens are uninformed and they don't understand the process. A lot of people think that if the president has a magic wand that says I can do whatever I want.
Oh, no, okay, I'm not saying I get what you're saying. And everyone listening that knows or is informed or whatever can think about that and think that's probably not possible or that'll cause some problems with inflation or whatever.
Yeah.
But
in reverse to that, we could give out quite a bit of money for a pandemic.
You also don't have to say that then.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Sure, they're uninformed, bro, but are they supposed to all be perfectly informed? I don't know. And I'm not gonna sit here and blame that 25-year-old
for believing it.
I'm not.
Yeah, but
that's how.
But now we're getting to a problem not in the individual, but in the system itself.
Well,
the system itself is say whatever you want to say, right? The system itself is say whatever you want to say to gain your approval ratings. People will like you. People will be on your back, and then one day hopefully they'll forget what you said.
And that's that charisma I was talking about.
Yeah.
I want to make an impact, but I decided maybe sitting on the sidelines and being a commentator was something more.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, but you will have to say things that you pretty much know you can't deliver. Even if you here's the thing, man. I'm going to go on record and say this. I don't care if people hate me for it. I believe Barack Obama was one of the best presidents to ever sit in that seat. I'm not saying the best. I believe he was one of the best.
Now, I'm not going to say he wasn't, actually. I'm kind of on the same page in a way. But why do you say that?
I think out of all of the presidents that we've had, and I'm going to go back to my recollection, right? I'm not saying in my lifetime, but in my recollection. So I can't go as far back as, Abraham Lincoln, right? But I can go back to those who I understood, those who I got to, learn from and watch speeches of. I believe Barack Obama was one of the presidents who genuinely 100% had real intentions. And I just think, J. Cole put it in a rap song. They gave him keys to the ship and forgot to tell him it was already sinking. And unfortunately, what I think the vast majority of people don't understand is you've got 4 years to do your work, right? You got 4 years. And every single thing that you want to do will take about 2 to 3 years. Everything. Every bill you try and get passed is going to be in thought for about 9 months, and then it's going to take about 9 months to just try and get the votes before you can even put it to vote, because you don't put anything to vote until you know you have a majority voting. It takes about 18 months before you can put a bill even in production. Right, and that's a change.
Right.
So
I'd say the difference is that more recently we've been really doing the executive order thing pretty consistently, which isn't necessarily a good thing in my opinion.
It's not.
And that was after Obama. He still had some, but he still tried to play the normal political game. But here's the thing: even if you do what you want, even if Obama set up what he was going to do and did it, people would be mad.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, 100%.
Even his party would be mad. Just like Trump, dude. Trump gets in there, and he literally would do what he was going to do.
Yeah.
But people didn't like him because of it.
The one thing I will say
saying?
this is what I'll say about Trump, and I will say this with respect. Trump did every single thing he said he was going to do.
That's it.
People just didn't believe it.
Maybe they did.
Here's the thing. Trump said before he got to office, I'm going to get to office, and I'm going to tell everything that I know. He said that. He said, I'm just going to let you guys know what's going on. And then when he started saying these things, everyone was like, you probably shouldn't say that. I'm going to be honest. One of the first things Trump did when he got to presidency was create a space force. Look,
yeah, dumb, right?
I get it's dumb. But here's the reality. Name one president that would have gotten a briefing about aliens and been irrational enough to create a space force. He's the only one. Every other president, if you briefed me, a real politician who understands societal, the tack of society, who understands that things can unravel and can never be fixed, who understands what really panic quickly, is, who really understands how to control a government. If you tell me that, I'm not telling anyone.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. I'll say this. Well, Trump was not a statesman. Obama was a statesman.
Obama was...
so that's how that works.
The thing I love, and this is why I say I have an utmost respect for it, Obama was a very good person who was playing the rules the right way.
Right.
And the rules are not great, but he played the game correctly. He just did his best to represent us. And Trump was a really bad person who decided fuck the rules. And because he said fuck the rules, he had a little bit more ability to get traction.
Right, exactly.
The traction was just in a way that was his way.
Yeah, and I'm not expecting the guy. Like, the thing about Trump is, I always say this on my podcast constantly, dude. I would not get a beer with him. I get it, because I know how he's probably an asshole, whatever. But a lot of times that's not really what you should expect out of a president.
Yeah.
Are you going to meet him in person? Probably never. Just make sure he does what he says he's going to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'll get, like, right now we have a pretty freaking bad hand, even if it's Trump, Yeah,
we got a real bad hand.
So and let's talk about that. 2024 comes around. Biden's going to
before we even get to 2024. Do you think we make it to 2024?
Is this becoming a political podcast? Are we doing
I think
this?
that's kind of look. Do you think we'll make it to 2024?
You cool? Okay. Do you think I'm going to make? What do you mean we're going to make it? America's going to make it?
Do you think Joe Biden will make it to 2024? Before you answer, I believe this is my honest belief. I believe if Kamala Harris's approval ratings were higher, they would have taken him out of office.
Absolutely, 100%. If they were, they would have already tried to do the unfit for office thing.
Yeah. But the problem is
they don't have anybody else, dude.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They don't have anybody else, bro. They're scrambling right now. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Roe v. Wade happened, and they might have planned this out. Like, we're going to hold off on even making a law on this so that it goes to the Supreme Court so that this whole thing happens.
Yeah.
And I know you're thinking they're too dumb to plan stuff like that. No. This is normal. That's not a big deal to plan that Roe v. Wade release thing. Once that happened, they're like, we can get ratings back by riling up our base. But once they do that, what are they going to do?
Well, the problem is then
That's
you
where
have
we're at right now.
Yeah,
they
then you have to point to someone to be the hero.
They lost it.
Yeah.
They literally made the
there
opportunity.
is momentum. Yeah,
and then they are going to lose it, or they already have lost it.
What the point you're making is right for everyone to ascertain is you create this issue that's blatantly obvious, and then in that blatant obvious issue, there's this morale of we need help, we need savior, we need someone to fix this.
Right.
So you have this building momentum that's just kind of piling up, and then you have to point it somewhere like a ray gun and go here. But the problem is there is no suitable recipient right now for the Democratic Party that you could say, okay, let's stand behind this individual.
Right. And creating the problem, right? That sounds like some kind of master plan, but no. All I mean is all they had to do was sit on the sidelines whenever they had the chance to make Roe v. Wade a law federally.
Yeah.
That's all they had to do. It wasn't like they're actively out here being malicious or nefarious, even though they, in the back of their heads, they're like, well, we're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how politics are played. It's not this whole grand scheme freaking tinfoil hat thing.
Yeah, no.
You know?
No, it's a lot more passive than people think.
Yeah, exactly.
People think it's a lot more active manipulation, movies,
Yeah.
one of these right
now,
here.
I'm not going to tell you there's not blackmail, obviously. Like, if you've ever seen House of Cards.
Yeah, of course. Great show.
Dude,
Incredible show.
It is an awesome show, but the reason I didn't like the show is because it made me, like, I could feel it. Like, that's too real.
But it is real.
Exactly. I could feel
and
it.
one of the things
And that was before my podcast.
One of the
Way
reasons
before
I
my
loved
podcast.
about House of Cards, and for those of you guys who haven't watched it, it's an incredible show. That's not just government.
It was
That's
before
also
Kevin Spacey went all,
yeah, before he got in that trouble with the molestation.
Molested,
yeah. But that form of manipulation, that form of power, that form of control, that form of I get what I want, that's very, very pertinent in government, but that's also just business. I mean, you go to any Fortune 500 company.
We're talking about Trump again.
100%.
We're talking about Trump again. And that's, you're right.
It's
right.
It's the
What
same
do
thing.
What do they expect to get? He said, I'm a CEO of these freaking crazy-ass big companies, and I'm a president.
Yep. And
That's what we got. We
he's
got
also the same guy
exactly
who's
that.
filed bankruptcy like 6 times.
Hey, man, you're the guy. You got to do what you got to do,
You got to
man.
do what you got to do, man. You got to do what you got to do. Filing bankruptcy don't mean you broke.
It doesn't mean anything.
It just means you got to pay that debt.
There's plenty of options on bankruptcy. It's not just one freaking label. You know what I mean?
Okay, so the initial question is, do you think we make it to 2024?
Yeah. Okay. So I think Biden makes it 24.
Yeah.
24. Originally I said 2 years, right? I said 2 years is it. That's my prediction. He will be unfit for office and done. But what you said is true. Kamala is not going to be, she can't do it. She has a freaking
I think
hyena laugh. No
I think
one
it was
likes
about 6 months ago they already determined that if he was not going to be in office, that it wasn't going to be her.
Yeah,
they were going to go around her.
So I think, yes, he'll make it.
Because now they're just hanging on.
Yeah, he's going to hang on.
Yeah.
He's going to hang on. He's not going to die.
And they're doing a great job at hiding the two of them. I mean,
they've been doing that forever.
They've been in
Are you
rocks.
kidding me?
They've been
the
in the
campaign
rocks.
was the same way, dude. Did you ever see Biden once,
No.
twice, maybe?
We saw Obama advocate for Biden more than we actually saw Biden.
Here's what I'm more interested in, 2024. Republican Party is possibly, there's a potential for it to completely rip itself apart as well. And it will depend on if Trump and DeSantis decide to run together. Or apart, but in the same race.
Yeah, but, against each other.
Yeah, that'll ruin some things.
What makes you say that?
Well, because Trump's not a guy that's going to lose, right? And even though he's a guy that's on TV with DeSantis and he's cool and they're cordial and whatever,
it'll get ugly.
It'll get ugly, dude.
Yeah.
Trump doesn't give a crap. He's gonna say whatever he has to say, man.
Yeah, he's going to want to win.
And DeSantis, honestly, might do the same thing.
Yeah, but DeSantis, I hate this. I mean, I want to say this both ways. DeSantis is a pretty easy target,
Oh, he is for sure.
But I also say that Trump is too.
And polling for DeSantis and Trump has literally been like this. It's going back and forth in a way. Right now, it's on DeSantis a little bit more for like who people want.
Yeah.
But none of that really says anything to me until they say I'm running.
Yeah.
And so as soon as they say I'm running, that's whenever you want to look at the polling. Right now, dude, okay, cool. It's all up
just
in the air.
speculation,
It's all
yeah.
speculation, whatever. But yeah, it'll get ugly. And if they decide to do it, if they don't talk to each other or like figure something out beforehand, like you're going to run and I'm not, it'll ruin DeSantis' career.
Yeah.
First of all, if Trump runs, even if Trump doesn't win,
Yeah. Just because of the
all of that.
clawing,
Dude.
yeah.
So it's his choice. He can sit back and relax. And
Yeah,
let it happen.
but the reality is, right, yes, they're going to, let's say hypothetically they both decide to run, right? At the end of the day, the party is going to have to back someone.
No, but it's going to be a split in the party. You know what happened in the Democratic Party with freaking Bernie Sanders and Biden?
Yeah, but once the party
They split a little bit.
Once the party realized that their better odds were with Joe.
But did they realize that, or were they told to realize
Listen,
that?
Bernie didn't
I'm telling
lose. Bernie ejected
backed out,
himself.
exactly, and because he didn't want to ruin his career.
Yes.
It's a DeSantis thing. You're right.
It's all behind the scenes.
Right,
hey,
right,
listen,
right,
you're not going to win.
right.
Let's preserve you. Get out.
But in my opinion, it still ruined the party somewhat. So that's.
But
why
it didn't ruin Bernie.
No.
You
he
get what I'm
backed
saying?
out. He backed out.
He backed out,
Okay.
which is not really a back out.
I
It's
see
a
what you're
force
saying. I
out.
see what you're saying. Just them being in the running won't ruin it. You're right.
It's
DeSantis,
losing.
Yeah, if DeSantis
losing.
backs out, yes.
Now, in my
Right.
opinion,
You're right.
in my opinion, the better possibility is DeSantis, and it's
for sure.
specifically because, the Democrats are not idiots, right? And everything is going so bad right now. I could see a lot of Democrats voting for DeSantis. Just this go around. Who else?
Well, you're talking. What you're really talking about is like center left.
Yeah, I'm talking about the concedement.
Yeah.
What are my it's like the saying that was used so much when everyone was voting for Hillary. A lot of people voted for Hillary not because they wanted Hillary, but because it was the lesser of the evils. I read a quote somewhere, and they said voting for Hillary versus Donald was like voting for Darth Vader and Darth Maul. Mm-hmm. Just pick one, and that's just you just say what's the lesser of my evils.
I would say political track record Hillary had she was way more evil, but business track record of Trump was the same.
Yeah, but the reality is you didn't want someone in office that had dodged capital murder.
Yeah, freaking Clinton body count, dude. What are we talking about?
You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
you didn't
dodged capital murder.
as bad as Trump could be, as bad as grab her by the pussy was.
God.
We're talking about
dude. People have said some stuff like that, man. It's whatever. Like, what's that guy's name? That actor that talks, Sean Connery, bro. Mm. He was like, yeah, every once in a while, a woman just needs a slap. And that was like the whatever.
Man, but
70s or 60s.
I just don't think there's been anyone on this planet that was as blatant as that.
Right.
I mean, on the biggest stages, just
you're right. He didn't
on the biggest stages, we're talking about speeches like. No one's ever been that bold,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But
yeah, so if DeSantis and both of them run and he doesn't back out, then yeah, of course it's gonna. And the reason it'll split the party in a way.
Yeah.
Because, dude,
well, a lot of people, a lot of high end up there Republicans are not supporting Trump.
Right.
And
then center definitely. Well, I wouldn't say definitely, but a lot of center isn't either.
Yeah, they feel that feel that he made a bit of a laughing stock of the party.
He did, man. He put what he did is like a business maneuver, I guess, but he used everyone around him to do what he wanted at the very end.
Yeah.
The very end, he's like, "Oh, I got this, lawyer guy. I got this. I got this. I got this. Make sure they know the election was stolen," type thing.
Yeah.
And that all goes downhill quick.
Yeah,
it all goes downhill quick.
It makes them as a group look really bad. Mm-hmm. It's a poor representation on the organization itself.
Even though you never caught him once saying it out loud or saying it direct or saying he might have said like, oh yeah, because Biden stole my election, but he never wanted to rile up the base that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just think
he didn't say it in that way. But then you
to me, I don't think that was bad. I think what really makes the party look bad, I think what really offends a lot of people who give a fuck about the Republican Party was when you had people raiding the Capitol building.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying. Before that ever happened, Trump was like, okay, y'all should probably go home or whatever, but it was already too far gone.
It was too late, and
and of course there's a lot of things we can say about that, like, well, the police let them in and blah 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 and whatever. Look, all I gotta say is, dude, if you're gonna do that crap, the Capitol better be in rubble.
Yeah,
I'm being honest. I'm like a libertarian mindset, I guess, but like, if you actually want it to be an insurrection, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
it's happened before, man.
Here's the problem,
but
right?
It shouldn't have happened at all if they're going to do it the way they
shouldn't
did.
have happened ever, but here's the reality. You got guys in there. You could call them all extremists. You could call them all rogue, whatever you want to say. The reality is you got guys in there with your name, waving your name as they're doing something that's just...
Yeah, they're representing you, dude.
And, and that action in itself is absolutely unexcusable.
Right. You can't let that happen.
100%. And the fact that you got my name while doing it, it doesn't matter if I had involvement or not. That's a poor representation on the entire organization.
Dude, and the worst part of it all is that afterwards, the amount of just constant flood of people on the Republican side just immediately doing a 180.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was stupid. Why did Trump do that? I don't like Trump anymore.
Yep. And that was the point that I was making.
It was a clear backstabbing.
That's the point I was making.
We said it's always behind the scenes. It's always passive. That right there is the one thing that'll ruin a party.
Yeah.
That's why it's always passive.
That's the point I was making. When there were a lot of things that were kind of like, if I brought you to an event, right? If I brought you to a barbecue, right? Let's say I gave you a black card for the day. You can come to my barbecue, right? And everybody's like, "Who's this white guy you brought?"
Yeah, let's go, dude.
Let's say I did that.
I'm down.
If you started doing stupid stuff, that's a poor representation on me. Because I invited you. As much as you're a grown man and you're your own guy and you do your own thing.
You're still responsible to an extent.
Everyone in there is not mad at you. They're mad at me because you showed up with me. They're like, yo, what's up with your boy?
So same thing when you bring a girl around, your friends are like, who the hell is this girl?
That's my point. That's exactly my point. So my point is that everyone is tainted by that representation, by that relationship. That's your person. You accorded for them. You're responsible for their actions. As much as you don't control them, you're held accountable for what they do.
So now imagine having that responsibility on, millions of people.
100%. And it's like
tens of millions of people.
Yeah, and that was the blatant obvious thing where there were a lot of side-eye stuff. A lot of the things he did were kind of side-eye. To me, I saw the biggest shift of his supporters, and I don't mean his supporters like the guys in the street. I mean his supporters like the guys in suits. That was the moment where I saw guys like, yo, we're not with you anymore. Like, this was a line crossed.
Well, Mike Pence, dude, specifically.
Yeah.
His career probably got ruined because of it.
Yeah, I think his career was 100% ruined.
And he was finally like, dude, you can't. No, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And even if it was a way, like, you got to say it somehow. Even if he believed all the election stuff, he still had to come out and say, I'm not going to back you up on this election thing. Election thing was right.
Yeah, I just can't.
That was his way of saying, I'm not doing this with you anymore.
Yeah, and I think that was unprecedented. And then the next most unprecedented thing is currently we have a president in office who's not the favor for their party's reelection, which is pretty crazy.
Oh, it's huge. But you know what else? How old is he, right?
Yeah.
That's unprecedented.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking again.
That's another Trump topic too, because Trump's gonna be the same age, bro.
But sanity is a different thing, right? Like, here's my thing. I don't believe everyone talks about his age. I don't believe the guy sucks because he's old. I think the guy sucks because he has literal dementia. I think he has a real medical condition.
You're right that I guess it doesn't have to correlate.
Yeah.
But usually it does, right?
Yeah. So usually they come hand in hand. But the reality is there are 60-year-olds with dementia. Right. Yeah, there's 60-year-olds with dementia. Yeah, and then there's 90-year-olds that are perfectly intact.
Yeah. Have you ever watched like his speeches like in the 90s or even in Obama era?
Yeah, he was sharper.
It's like, whoa, holy crap.
He was a completely different. That's my point. Listen, Obama was my favorite president, and not for his skin color, but because of literally who he was, how he carried himself, how he spoke, how he moved. How his responses to certain questions.
He did call Kanye a jackass.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but he managed to maintain this upper echelon's professionalism while still being relatable to the common individual. That was something outside of Reagan I'd never seen before. I'd never seen anyone, be able to be a echelon's individual and be able to relate to the guy in the streets on the corner.
The one con I can say, or the only thing I can talk about Obama on the bad way, I guess, is he was the same kind of establishment war figure, and so like he still did the whole freaking military industrial complex stuff as far as like let's go ahead and do the drones over here, drone strikes here, let's keep this thing going, blah blah blah, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
that's really the only thing I can think of that's like his foreign policy wasn't really
Yeah,
that's all. But besides that, you're completely right.
Yeah, I think the thing I loved was
it was after 9/11, right? So we're all like, what the heck? And then 2008 and all this stuff happened.
Yeah,
and he's like, boom, and I think he did a good job.
I just think the guy was a professional, and I don't mean a professional as in I am professional, like I dress well and speak well. I mean as a professional as in this is my job and I'm going to do it the best I can do it.
Oh, like he actually knew the job that he got into?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he understood the job he was signing up for.
It's so funny, dude. Presidents like Reagan, bro, like you just brought him up. He was good, but it's like no one thought that was going to be him.
Yeah.
No one thought he was going to be in that. Trump, same thing. He's a CEO of some freaking business or whatever.
Yeah.
Obama did get in there, and he knew I'm going to be
president. He knew what he was signing up for.
I know what president is.
He knew what I was signing up for.
You're right about that.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I appreciated. And again, so many people hold him, so many people say, well, all he did was this, and they took it away 2 years after. Here's the reality, right? Like, your cabinet matters.
Yeah.
If everyone in there is red, it's tough to get things done. It's really tough to get things done.
Right.
As much as this person may have great intentions and a great interest to make changes that are effective and that are going to help.
It's not going to happen.
It's not.
And that's why, and that's literally the reason that Democrats had it. They had everything they needed, and they didn't do the Roe v. Wade thing on purpose. That's why I think that.
Yeah.
Because they had everything backing them up. So it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, they had everything. And that's what kind of what you were explaining before is they did have everything.
But, dude, the other thing, too, is like, do you think we're done with career politicians then, as far as specifically just for presidential role? Because I can't think of anybody right now. They kick out the people that are good again, apparently. Tulsi Gabbard was going to do it, and then they just kick her to the wayside.
I think to me, I think we have to get back to it. I think there's a problem when people who are clearly unqualified are now trying to become.
So what is that going to take
in the running?
You know what I'm saying?
Like, here's the thing, right? Let's just speak facts. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made a public opinion that he felt he could be the president, right?
Yeah, Kanye.
Kanye West, with
Yeah.
all seriousness, said
yeah.
that he feels he could be the
Okay,
president.
hold on. How do we feel about Kanye though?
Listen,
Where you at on that? Because dude, honestly, he's a genius. I can't
hang
lie
on.
to you.
So I've watched. I study.
Okay,
I've
yeah.
watched a ton of his podcast. I watched all of his podcasts with Rogan. I've watched him. I've watched his documentary.
Dude,
I've studied the guy.
Good.
The guy is next level. I just think
He's not made for president at all.
I'm
not saying that at all.
I think
but
he's not made for systems. To me,
That's why it's.
this
that's
is what
why
I
he's a
believe.
freaking
This is my
genius.
honest belief. Let me give you this. You ready?
Dude,
I
hit
believe
me.
there are talents, but I think every talent has a category, right?
Yeah.
My talent, my highest, if I could get to the top of anything in life, it's going to be utilizing my talent of organization. I'm made for systems. I firmly believe I am suitable to run a Fortune 500 company with 3,000 employees. That's my gift. Kanye's gift is that of an artist. And there are certain artists who don't work well within confinements of organizations. It's just not what they do.
Well, they're in touch with their freaking creative mind so much. That
But
it's just
again,
like they can't
I
even
say that
think about it.
I say that because there are artists who are. There are artists
That's what I'm
who
saying.
can fit it.
It's a level of that creative
It's
mind.
where your gifts are given.
Are you getting like 10% of that right side, or are you getting?
Yeah,
all
you
of
know what I'm
it,
saying?
you know?
It's where your gifts were bestowed, and I don't believe I'm not diminishing him. The guy, what he is good at is second to no one on this earth. But that thing is not supposed to be put in a box.
Yeah, he can't do policy, bro.
He can't do.
I get it.
He can't be in charge of something that has checks and balances, or has this needs to be checked by that guy, and then it goes to that guy, and then it goes to that guy, and then it goes to that guy. He needs to be given his ability to just do his thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, like in Joe Rogan, right? They were on and they were talking about it, and Joe Rogan's like, "What are you going to do whenever problems arise?" type thing, right? And he asked that question a few times in a different way, but it was like kind of like, "How are you going to deal with this or that?" And Kanye's like, "Well, I have people around me that should be able to help me."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess kudos to him for even saying that in the first place, because I know how Kanye is. But
Yeah.
second of all, I'm like, but I don't know if that's the guy, you know?
Yeah. At the end of the day,
You
at
know?
the end of the day, we all know that as president of the United States, you're not really in charge of anything. We all know that. But at the same time, you're in the role to be perceived that you're in charge of everything.
Right.
We know there's not much you can do by yourself, but we want to feel like you will do everything
Well,
by
I mean, you don't
yourself.
see all the board members.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see the CEO,
That's it.
and that's how that works.
And most of the time, the CEO is not the decision maker. He's just the guy that explains the decision to the public. But we want to, everyone, as much as people know that, we want to feel like, again, Bezos owns, I think it's 17% of Amazon. And you can fact check me. I believe it's either 17 or 19.
Is it still that?
Yeah.
Okay, I
it's
guess
either,
I thought.
it's either
okay.
17 or 19. But he owns under a fifth of the company.
You need to get young Edwin over here doing computer stuff.
I know, right? It's under
Fact check me on that.
it's under a fifth of the company.
Yeah.
But we know there's decision makers, we know there's a board, we know there's investors, we know all that, right? But at the
Right.
end of the day, we all want to feel like you got this. Like, this is on you. You let us know what's up. You make the decisions. You guide us, you lead us. Let's go. Everyone wants that feeling. Like, everyone wants that security. Everyone
Okay,
wants
but
that.
check this out. So check this. We're talking about all these CEOs and stuff, so I can't help but bring up Elon. And Elon is like a Kanye to me. He just somehow, because he's a different type of creative mind, I guess, he's
Yeah.
able to get in there to these positions that he probably shouldn't even be in my opinion.
Okay.
He's like running companies and stuff, dude.
Yeah, he's running like 7 of them.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
But-
As the standing CEO.
Luckily, I guess he's the CEO, right? And
Mm-hmm.
maybe he's finally realized that he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to do all the decision making, I guess. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like Kanye. Why can't he? But I don't know. He has companies
Yeah,
too,
but
right?
again,
he
I just think their skill set is so different. Like, Elon, to me, as talented as he is, he's missing some things, right? But the things he's missing are social skills. He's missing the ability to communicate effectively. He's almost borderline autistic. And
yeah, he is for sure. Yeah.
And that gives him talents in the ability to execute and compartmentalize and place things correctly and where they should be. Kanye has great social skills. He has probably too much social skills. The things he's missing are the ability to compartmentalize, the ability to be organized.
Right.
They're, as much as they're both hyper talented and quite frankly at a mental headspace that would be quantified as abnormal, and they could probably be diagnosed with something that people would make up.
Oh, for sure. People would make up.
They're opposite. You know what I'm saying? They're almost polar opposite.
We got a pill for that.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, for sure.
Like Elon's, the things he's missing actually help him do what he's doing
I agree.
better. And the things Kanye's missing are actually hindering him from anyone trusting him to do those things.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure, dude. What sucks is that they definitely did just label him crazy, but whatever.
You know, but here's the reality, right? If you look at anyone that's hyper talented, anyone that's able to accomplish something at that level, they're all crazy in a way.
Because they're obsessed, and it's like a focus.
Yeah.
You know, it's an intense focus.
Well, here's the reality. You're crazy is just being not status quo. If you're not what everyone else is, you're off. You're crazy. That's just the cold reality.
That's how it is. Yeah.
And you cannot accomplish greater than the masses and
By
be that
doing
of the
status
masses.
quo. Yeah, exactly. You can't
So
do that.
everyone at the highest, the unfortunate part is everyone at the lowest level is also off, but everyone at the highest and lowest level of society are both off. You cannot be one of us and somehow make it to the pinnacle of us. It's just not possible. You can't. So everyone at the tip top and everyone at the very bottom is off. The problem is there are more people at the bottom than at the top. So naturally, we label this as something, and you
Right.
guys are just quote unquote anomalies.
Right. And so I want to move that into like podcasting a little bit because, you know, right now there are 4 million podcasts, right? They've just freaking, there's around 4 million, whatever. But to put that in perspective, YouTube has 31 million YouTubers, like people doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And people are still getting on YouTube and getting famous. One of the things I hear all the time is I don't want to do this because no one will hear it or no one. And you said you don't care, and I get that. And most people shouldn't, honestly.
Yeah.
It should be a passion you're getting into, and you just want to talk and let people listen to you.
Yeah.
But if it's not, and you're trying to get famous or whatever, you know, it's not like this thing where there's not enough to go around.
Yeah.
People should know that.
Well,
like,
you know, one of the things that I think I recommend, right? So Grant
Billions of
Cardone has a book, 10X. I don't know if you've read it.
I haven't, dude. I've heard of it, though.
So 10X, I think I've got it on my shelf. There's a chapter in there that's specifically about that, and it's a chapter that talks about how success is an abundant resource. And the point of the chapter is to get everyone to understand the notion that success is not some limited thing, that if you and I are next to each other and, for example, we order a pizza. You know, Edwin's over here, so it's 3 people in this room. Let's say I order a pizza with 12 slices, and we all have 2, right? So we're 6 down, there's 6 left. If I grab another one, that's less of an opportunity for you to get another slice, right? Because it's a limited thing.
Right.
And his chapter in that book is specifically to get everyone to understand success is an unlimited and abundant resource.
It's not a pizza.
Gathering it does not diminish or reduce the possibility of you getting it. In fact, it should do the opposite, and it should show you that it's possible and attainable. If I could do it, you can do it, and you can do it, and you can do it, and there's no one here that can't do it, because the reality is, and this is the truth, we have printed you know, I was watching PBD, the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet-David, and he talked about it as well. We have printed more money in the last 27 months than we actually printed in the last 20 years combined.
Oh, yeah, that's a big stat everyone's talking about.
Combined.
Sure. Yeah,
again, this is. I have to say this one more time, and you have to catch this. In the last 27 months, we have printed more money in the United States of America than the last 20 years combined. There is enough money circulating in the United States for every single person in the United States to have $1 million. It exists. Unfortunately, it's just the teeter-totter is off. Some people have so much. But the reality is it's going around. You just have to get in the game and go get it.
So, and that's the wealth gap, right? I want to talk about that a little bit because that's obviously what we're saying. Like, it's like, yes, there's $1 million for everybody, but obviously most of the money goes to one section and doesn't go to the rest or whatever.
Yeah.
These guys up here aren't just keeping it, though. It's not like they just sit here.
No, it's not like they're hoarding it. They're using it. It's going.
Exactly.
It's leaving their hands and then coming back. And it's moving.
Well, that's like the basic principle of economy, right? Like
of course.
You want
of
things
course.
to keep running like
roughly,
that,
and this statistic is pretty out of date. I think this was a 2018 poll. but roughly 77% of all money, of all cash in existence in the United States of America is moved on a yearly basis. So that means only roughly 30% of money is sitting. And in all honesty, it's really in the top 2% of the fact that they may have, $2 billion or $3 billion sitting in a stock portfolio. It doesn't move. But roughly, 4/5 of all money is changing hands throughout a calendar year. It's just a matter of, are you getting in it and grabbing some? Are you gathering any of it? And the wealth gap is a huge part, primarily. And let's just be honest, and this is going to be me speaking as someone who grew up as a poor black man. The wealth gap is what it is because not enough people are informed. It's not that people don't have the capability to get money.
Right.
It's the fact that I grew up and didn't know how to get money. I didn't know how to manage money.
You also were thinking about the pie, the freaking pizza.
Yeah, 100%.
You were thinking about that.
I firmly believed, systemically, I believed, and I believe a lot of people believe, that if my friend somehow gets rich, it's like, man, fuck you, bro. Like, why aren't you giving me some of your money? Like, why aren't you coming back to the, weird enough, I want to share this one. This one's going to be a pretty tough one, man, but I'm going to share this one on this episode. I had a cousin who unfortunately passed away. Some of you guys who know about me on a personal level, he passed away. I attended his funeral, I think about 2 months ago. And it was a tough loss because our last conversation was not great. He had reached out to me, I think, a couple months before that and basically went off on me and said, this is as true as it can be. He said, you're not a real leader. You're not, everything you do is fake. You went out and you made all this money and, you got multiple cars and I don't even have a car and you need to come back here and you need to come back to Houston and you need to take care of us and this and that and this and that. And I told him, I said, listen, the reason you are where you are is because you firmly believe I owe you. Like not that you're asking for help. You firmly believe I owe you. And I said, the day that you make the decision to realize no one owes you anything, you will get what you want. But you have to be responsible for that. You have to go get it. And it was a tough conversation to be had. And I know my grandma's going to watch this episode. She's probably my number one fan. So she'll see this part about it. But I said that in response because I wanted it to click to him. And I don't think that I'm better than you because I learned this lesson. I think I was just blessed enough to have someone, a mentor in my life named George, who instilled that into me when I was young. When I was real young and I was the most arrogant, cocky, hardworking, my shit don't stink type of dude, he beat it into me. Like, you are responsible. You have to make it happen. No one's going to give you anything. No one's going to hand this out to you. It's on you. And I gained that very early, and that became a part of my DNA, a part of my culture, a part of how I moved. And you have to realize, listen, I mean, I wish everyone knew, as much as the odds may be stacked against you when you start the game, it's not a hard game to play. It's just hard to learn.
I think it's definitely a mindset in that regard, because you can get that mindset somehow, some way, finally get it, and that's when it's not hard.
Yeah.
Because you've got, what you're doing is almost like, in my eyes, you're changing your negative thoughts to positive, essentially.
Yeah.
And if you go a day in and day out and think, I need to do this positively or whatever, and I'm not necessarily, it's just in that light, I guess.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're not thinking, oh, this guy owes me or whatever.
Yeah, but I think from my experience and from what I've gathered and from the people I've mentored, a lot of it initially is the intimidation factor. Like, let me give you.
You're afraid of the failure.
Yeah, well, let me give you a metaphor.
Right?
Let me give you a metaphor. I was talking to a good buddy of mine, so I don't know if you knew or not, but I went on a cruise recently, and on that cruise,
one where you wrecked a boat.
No, man, no, we're not going to talk about that one. But I went on a cruise, not my boat, but we went on a cruise, and I'm a gambler. I love to gamble. I love competitiveness, and I brought $2,000 cash to hit the casino, and long story short, I'll tell the reason for it, but I made $17,000 in 3 days playing blackjack. And I say this because I always knew people made money on blackjack. Like, I'm not stupid. I as a young guy, I knew.
I mean, that's the game.
I knew money was being made.
If you choose a game, that's the game.
Yeah, but I knew a lot of money. Like, listen, you could sit there and you could play Hold'em, or you could play Baccarat, or you could play craps, and you could make some money. But you're not going to turn 2 into 17 in 2 days. And we're not talking about sitting there I'm talking about 3-hour sessions, 2-hour sessions, 2-3 times. So I'm talking about 6 hours total. I knew that was possible.
Right.
But similar to what I was speaking about the game of life or the game of finances, it's not a hard game. It's just hard to learn it. Once you've learned it, I mean, again, I firmly believe this, and I'm saying this now both about the metaphor and about blackjack. Blackjack is a super easy game. It's hard to learn. There's the gap to get to the place where you go, I understand this, and I'm willing to bet my hard-earned money on it. That's a hard gap. But once you get it, oh, man, the game doesn't change.
Right.
And I'm saying this not in an arrogant fashion, but 2 months before I took that cruise, I went to New Orleans. I brought $1,000 cash, came back with $6,000. 3 months before that, I went with Marco to Las Vegas. I brought $2,000 cash, came back with $8,000. I make money doing this because I put in a great deal of effort and time to learn how to play this game at a high level.
For all the casinos listening right now, he is counting cards. Just kidding.
No, weird enough, I thought they were going to kick me out. I went in to go cash out. Obviously, I had a crap ton of chips. I was like, you guys hate me, right? And they're like, check your email. I got an email for a free cruise. They're like, come back. Bring all that money you won. Bring it all
You're
back.
not, yeah, I guess maybe it's the guys.
Bring all that money
you
back.
ever seen 21?
Yeah, of course.
Dude, of course you have.
Course.
But that's it, man. That's the thing.
But again, my point of the matter is when you talk about finances, when you talk about where I came from to where I'm at, and when you talk about a lot of people who want to make money, listen, you could use my metaphor and be literal with blackjack, or you could talk about the metaphor I'm referring to in life. It's hard to learn. It really is. I'm not going to act like it's not. It was a lot of energy to learn how to be a businessman, how to be a leader, how to shift my mindset to be that of someone who sees opportunity and doesn't see, this closed door. It is really hard to get there, and I'm not going to pretend it's not. Because if it wasn't, everyone and their grandma would be rich. It's really hard to get there, but I promise you, when you arrive, it's not hard to stay there.
Right.
You just have to put in a great deal of effort to learn those things, to grasp those things.
And we have freaking memory, right? So like how it feels. Like you get your first opportunity or whatever, and you take it or you go into it, and it might be a loss, might be a win, whatever. But you remember the feeling going into that, knowing it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So the next time that rolls around, or you're thinking, "Oh man, this sucks," you think about that. That's it. That's what you need to get back.
Yeah.
And so then you think, okay, well, then you have to learn what steps to get to that. What are the steps that I can do to change that in my,
And a lot of things that you're going to need to learn, you won't know you need to learn until you do it. And that's why.
Well, that's podcasting, dude.
Yeah, and that's why I boiled down the notion of intimidation, similar to blackjack. At first, it's extremely scary. And a lot of the reason that people don't play, and people don't play the game of life or play the game of blackjack or play the game of whatever craft you're talking about.
It's that big fucking light sign that says failure, bro.
100%.
And it's like, dude, you can walk under that sign.
But the thing that I think has to, really, really stick is you have to realize lessons, skills, and losses, they will be with you forever.
Yeah.
If I spend 6 months, let's say a year, let's say I spend a year learning a new skill. That's a long-ass time. That's a long time. That's a commitment. That's a life's commitment to put a year towards the skill. What you don't realize, or maybe you do, or maybe you're ignoring it, you're going to have that skill for the rest of your life. And if you do this at 30, right, and let's say, the average American's life expectancy is roughly about 77. Most of us outside of freak accidents, that life expectancy is really low because there's a lot of people who die at 4 and 7 and 20.
Well, it's better if you don't drink soda and you get these Zevia things.
And you get these Zevias, man. But in all honesty, if you take out the short losses of life expectancy, it's roughly about 85. That's really the real number. So let's say you make it to 85. At 30, you spend a year learning a new skill, a new craft, a new trade. You're going to be able to have that for another 60 years.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Forever, right? Forever. And one analogy, not even an analogy, a real life thing. This year, so every year I make a priority to learn a new skill that's challenging, right? And it's typically something I'm paying a great deal of money for, and I want to go, I don't ever want to need you again. Or if I do still use you, at least I want to know more about it. So this year I talked about it. I was actually extremely surprised at how fast I picked it up. I thought it was going to take me the year. It actually took me like 3 months. But I wanted to learn building websites. I wanted to learn how to code websites.
Bro.
I wanted to learn how to start from nothing and build an entire functional website. And the reason I wanted to learn that is because, I obviously opened up multiple companies. I I think 7 websites, including the
Dude,
nonprofit.
if you're right here in the modern world and you want any kind of presence at all, you should have a website.
Yeah.
And learn to do it just to do it in the first place.
But the bigger thing is when I didn't know how to do it, I paid a pretty penny on these websites.
For actual designers, right?
Yeah,
And
of
the
course.
beautiful thing is that we've gotten to where we don't even have to worry about learning 3 years of code and all this stuff. Now we finally have the point where there's still a learning curve, obviously.
Yeah.
3 months, you
Yeah.
know. But an average person can walk in and be like, you know what? I want a website and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
If they really do it,
Yeah.
it'll be good. It'll look great.
And that's the point I'm making is I was paying a great deal of money to get these websites built and get them managed and get them updated and get them tracked and get them, and get them monitored. And a priority for me was I wanted to learn this and I wanted to be able to, because I knew exactly what I'm explaining. If I spend a year, this is what was in my head. I thought it was going to take a year. If I spend a year learning how to not only build it, but manage it, monitor it, edit it, change it, keep it up to date, all these things, for the rest of my entire life, I will have that skill.
Even if you don't use it, though.
Even if I don't use it, at least I could better manage the
that's
people
what I'm
who
saying.
do it.
If you do pay somebody, you're not paying as much, maybe, because you're like, wait, no, just
I know
go
how
ahead
this
and do
works.
Yeah, just go ahead and do it like
or
this
I know
instead,
I'm not
you know?
getting duped, or whatever
Dude,
the case may be. And
I'm
again,
into that. Yeah.
So
That's why I learned.
And I'll
That's
piggyback
what
that
it
in a
is.
second to what I was talking about with my partners the other day. But my point is, my mentality is anything and everything that is a part of my organization, I want to know how it works. That's just how I am. That's how my mind works.
Yeah.
It took me 3 months to learn. I thought it was going to take a year. It took me 3 months to learn it. Currently, since that date, we're in July, so we're now 3 months detached from when I learned it. I built another site, didn't pay a penny.
Boom, done.
I had another company. I built another site, didn't pay a penny. I did it myself.
And so, like, the same thing. So when I started the podcast, I wanted to do everything myself to learn it. And I'm still doing that right now because it's pretty easy to do, honestly, for the way I'm doing it. But I wanted to learn all the back end. I wanted to learn how to work a camera. I hadn't even been in cameras at all. I didn't know what the hell they were. Now I'm pretty good with them. And, like, media all of a sudden was an opportunity thing for me. And that's it. I just wanted to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
But now I have that forever. And I built websites on top of it for the freaking media side and all that stuff. And that's, dude, yes, dude. I totally agree with that.
And to me, it's just like, listen,
It's
even
like
if
small things you can do.
and here's the
skills,
thing,
bro.
and here's what my firm belief is. I was talking to another individual. I was at an event, and a good buddy of mine, Mello, invited me to a company function or an event where a guy who had just gotten to med school, he got a full ride, and they were celebrating that. And he kind of explained a little bit of me, and I got the opportunity to share some of my opinions and how I felt these guys could elevate their life. And one of the things that I said was a real game changer for me was, when I was younger, a mentor told me, it doesn't matter how great you are if you can't make an impression on people. You need to be able to walk, and this is a true story. I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight to a story that happened recently.
It's true.
I went to a company function for a good friend of mine. She invited me to her company function. It's a high-level company. This is not a joke. These guys make money. There were millionaires, billionaires in there. The guy who owns the hotel, what's the hotel with a pool on it everybody goes to?
In Dallas?
Yeah. I'm
Omni?
blanking now.
Is it Omni or something?
No, it's the...
the Renaissance? Is that it?
No.
Dude, I'm sorry, bro.
Okay, well, listen.
Evan, what'd you got? What'd you say? The Westin?
No, it's the other one. Okay, well, anyways.
Leave that in the comments or something.
We'll put it in there. But listen, I have it, but I'm blanking. But listen, he owns the hotel, big time guy, not a joke, right? We're talking probably billionaire. And I'm in this company function, and I'm just being me. I'm just being exactly who I am. I have an aura, I have a confidence, I have a presence, I speak well, I carry myself well. But most importantly, in my life, I've gathered enough skills and done enough things to where I could typically hang in almost any and every conversation.
Yeah, dude.
No matter where the conversation goes,
Yep.
I'm not saying I'm going to be the best, but I can hang.
Right.
We're never going to get on a chat where I have to stick my hands in my pocket and go, I don't really know about this topic. And that was a thing that I wanted to be able to do in life was.
You know what that was? That was the freaking business deal we were doing. That was me because I was like, I had never. That's why I did it.
Okay, we'll get into that in a second.
Okay,
Remember
all right.
that. But that was my point. I was told at a young age, you have to be able to leave an impression on people in your first encounter. Because high-level people won't give you a second chance.
No, it's first person.
If they're in the room with you for 2 hours, an hour, 30 minutes, and they have zero interest to continue this, that's it. So long story short, I'm in this company function. It turned out to be a fundraiser for someone who had, was in a tragic accident. So there was a donation box for raffle tickets. I think each ticket was, $50. I don't know, something like that. So I bought, I think, 2 tickets. I had a $100 bill. I bought 2 tickets, right? And then they told the story of where the money was going. So it turns out the money was going to her. They were donating to her. She had just been in a tragic brain accident. And I felt bad. I really understood the cause of this. So I went back. I think I spent $1,000, right? So they ended up giving me like 20 tickets. Long story short, there were 30 items on this list. I was standing next to the friend who invited me. She had spent an equal amount of money. So I had probably, 22 tickets. She had 15 tickets. And the guy who owned the hotel had 20 tickets. They raffled off 30 items, and the three of us won 27 of them. So imagine a room, huge room, a room of 200 people, and every single time someone won something, it was one of us three. It almost looked coerced. But it was in that moment that, he looked at her and said, hey, we're going to go grab a drink. Make sure you invite Kevin. So I show up. We're grabbing a drink. We're all talking. We're chilling. And he looked at his assistant and said, this is our guy now. Like, he's with us. When we go to Vegas, invite him. Get his email, get his phone number. He's with us. And again, I know this because I learned this and I do this, but that was another moment of just, this is why you have to be able to leave an impression. Because it'll open doors for you
yes, dude.
that no level of skill set ever will.
Okay, so speaking of where the podcast was going,
yeah,
doing it and having guests and stuff made me realize that kind of thing. Just by having the guest on and being comfortable with them and I'm making an impression on them and all this stuff, I was networking and I didn't really think about it. Because it's like my way of networking now, essentially is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so, over time I start having better and better guests, and I have Don Huffines on, and then I have Peter Goodman, and I have these guys on that are well known, but I use that as a chance to gain knowledge from them for my sake as well. It's like learning a new skill. Every time I get on the freaking podcast, every time I do an episode, every time I have a guest on, it's like I'm learning a new skill there.
Yeah.
On the spot. So like a student of the game, that's kind of how it is.
Man, I don't know how I
and if it's not, if it's not freaking, this podcast, it's everyone's podcast. It's another podcast. It's the same thing, dude.
I mean, to me, it's not even just podcasting; it's life. Because
it is life, dude. But you know how hard it is? Like, some people can't. I'm saying podcasting is like almost a nice gateway for some pleb out there that doesn't know what the heck to do in a business conference.
Yeah. Well, listen, one of the things that hit me pretty hard, I'm trying to find this, but one of the things that hit me pretty hard was someone told me this one time, and it didn't register at that time until it happened, and then it hit me a lot harder. So I'll say this, and everyone will roll their eyes, and you'll be like, yeah, we get it. But when it happens, you're like,
cliché.
Fuck. You never know when and where you will meet someone that can change the course of the rest of your life.
Dude, oh man, you're hitting it, dude.
I mean,
sure.
and I want to say this one more time, because this was said to me, and I swear to you, I was like, duh, but like it didn't register. You never know when and where you can meet someone that can change the course of the rest of your life. And the question is, did they notice you?
And that goes to the next thing, dude. You can't say no, except for whenever Kevin asked you to go out on the boat on Wednesday or whatever day that was, bro. Anyway, you can't say no to a lot of things, because then you'll never get that chance.
Yeah.
At all. And that's why, dude, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that whole business thing that happened was from the podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That whole idea, the whole freaking thing.
It's the Virgin Hotel.
So I want to keep, that's what it's called? Virgin Hotel?
I can't believe I blanked on that. Everyone knows the Virgin Hotel. It's a big hotel.
You're out here in the,
It's like, listen, if you live in Dallas, right, and it's like you want to go to a pool party, you either go to Waterproof on the Statler or you go to the Virgin Hotel. And everybody knows that.
In Dallas?
Yeah.
I'm the Fort Worth guy. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
You're sorry about that? No, I'm sorry about you.
I live in Dallas. I live in one of the most beautiful cities in the United States of America.
Bro, I live where the West begins.
You live in Collegeville.
Where the West begins.
You might as well live in College Station. You might as well live in where's
you don't get one. You live in
Texas
Fort Worth, right?
Tech yet?
Yeah, dude. What the hell? Fuck off, dude.
Yeah, he's also like 19.
Whoa, get out of here, dude.
He's 20.
Hey, man, this is your media guy.
He's not even old enough to drink.
Mad respect. Blur this whole thing out, dude.
Okay, all right. So I do want to talk about that. I do want to get to that. This bar deal that went sour, right? And I want to bring that up because I think maybe people can learn from what I gathered and the things that I caught on to, because you probably didn't notice it. And it's just a measure of experience. It's just a measure of knowing what to look for, and that takes time. So talk to us about kind of how that went down, how that came about.
Yeah, man. So I had a guest. His name is Fabian. He's a cool guy. And,
Very cool guy. Very cool guy. Very ambitious.
Yeah, he is. He's very ambitious. You know, he's got dreams, man. And honestly, dude, sometimes it's half the battle. Like, people grow up thinking they need to get rid of their dreams because it's childish or some crap, but that's not real.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he came on the podcast, and he actually asked me. He wanted to come on the podcast. I'm like, dude, come on, why not? I don't say no. I don't have a, I say I'm a political podcast, and now it is changing. I am molding it a different way because I don't want to get to say no to somebody that wants to come on and talk.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not telling you I'm going to air your episode. Because I've had that happen, dude. Guests kind of go up and down. You're like, well, I can't air this, sorry, but I want that chance to have that conversation. Who do you know you're gonna meet? You have no idea, man. You have no idea. So anyway, have him on my show. He's like, okay, I'm gonna show you all these like alcohols, and like that's his thing, right? He's a beverage consultant in a way. That's what he calls himself. So he showed me all the alcohol and how it's made and stuff like that, and he goes down the history and all that stuff, and it was cool. It was interesting, A lot of people might have found it very interesting. Some people might have found it super boring. I don't know, but that's how that goes, right? It's just always a crapshoot. I was interested, so whatever. Well, I guess, later on he starts to get this idea that he wanted to start a restaurant. And, of course, he probably already had that idea, but it started to become like a more real thing.
Yeah.
And I think he started to get to a place, and this is all speculation on my part because I haven't actually asked him about this specific part of it, but I think he started to get to a place in his career where it was kind of boring, and he didn't really like it.
Yeah, it got
anymore,
monotonous.
It got monotonous. Yeah, he was just going. All he was doing is going to each bar and telling them how to run their bar better. He was the guy on whatever that show is, right? I don't know what you call it.
Bar Rescue.
Bar Rescue, yeah, Bar Rescue. He wasn't like a total
like
dick,
a John Taffer.
Yeah, he wasn't a John Taffer, but he was. He's that guy pretty much. So he hits me up, and he wants to have a meeting, and this is why I say never say no. Because he didn't say, I want a service from you, I'm going to pay you. He didn't say exactly what his intent was. So the average guy is going to say what? I'm not going to do it, I'm scared of that.
Or for what? Yeah.
For what?
Give me
whatever.
why.
Give me why, or whatever. And he may give you a vague response or whatever, and he pretty much did, and he's like, we'll talk about it. I'm like, cool, whatever. But I don't give a crap. I'm ambitious. I don't care. We'll see what he wants, It could have been literally anything with this guy.
Yeah,
you never freaking know.
Yeah.
And so I get to this place. It's, a nice place in Stockyards and top floor, and everyone there is wearing freaking business cash. I walk in with exactly what I'm wearing right now, so that was kind of like, what the heck am I doing
The
here?
short shorts?
Oh, short shorts and everything, dude. It was hilarious. And the shirt, same shirt. And I'm like, dude, let's go, So, lucky shirt, I guess. Anyway, he's like, hey, you want some wine? I'm like, cool, man, whatever,
Yeah.
And he just from there, it was like have you ever seen Social Network?
No.
What?
That's the one about Facebook, right?
Bro, yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that, sorry.
Okay, I was going to say,
I forgot the name.
Well, they called it a Shaunathon, but it was whenever the guy from Napster comes in and is just talking all this business stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that crazy, obviously. It was a little bit more laid back. But I'm just saying he was trying to sell me on something. And I'm like, I get what he was doing. I understood it. I was like, let me see the plan. I saw the plan. I was like, this is a pretty cool idea. That's all I got from it. That's all I wanted from it. That's all I needed. And then he's like, cool, man. So if you want to invest, let me know. And then he was like, and if you know people. But that's where I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think, I'm going to invest right now. Because I've never even thought about, been about, looked into restaurants at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not the guy. I'm not about to tell him, I'm going to invest in this. I have zero idea.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just, I'm going to do due diligence for sure. So who do I call? Well, the boy Kev over here. So I was like, he's like, anybody? Sure, whatever. And I was like, well, I might. And I actually had some other guys in mind, not going to lie, dude. You're not the only guy in the world, okay? I just want to make sure you know that.
You just had to say that, huh? Okay.
But anyway.
But I was the first call for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. You were.
Yeah,
you were?
Say that one. Okay.
All right. You would lay that down?
Get that back out there.
Freaking credit out here, bro. Anyway, dude, so he's like, okay, cool, man. And then he's like, well, how about this? If you can find somebody that'll give me such and such money, then I will give you, this % of equity or whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, look, dude, I've never been in a position like that. For me, it's always been, I'm going to start this thing and I'm going to do it. I've never been in a position to acquire or like be a partner with or anything in a business like that. I just don't have experience in that.
Yeah.
And so when he said that, I was like, oh shit, this is a thing? I'm like, hell yeah. Let's freaking do it. What is this? What am I doing right now?
Yeah.
You know, I was
Yeah.
like, what
Just
job?
running blind.
What job role is this? You know,
Yeah.
I was like, let's go, dude. And so it was like the whole skill thing. I'm like, I'm ready to learn some stuff here, man. And that's the reason I called you, because
Yeah.
it was like, I want to learn something. And, you know, I was like, hey, favor for favor, man. You know, I set up your podcast. Like, this is what it is, you know, and I
So,
need some help from you now.
One
And
of
that
the
was it.
things that I had to really do a gut check on with myself was realizing how many red flags, and we've talked about it, was how many red flags I dismissed because that's been a dream of mine for a very long time. You know, if I could go back to, you know, let's say whatever it was, 19 or 20, and, you know, I was running, you know, Rudy's Barbecue, and I had already started to. Long story short, one of the things that I had, you know, and I have a vice. I've always had a vice for as much as I work and want to win and do things and spread myself as much as I possibly can. I'm very intentional about how much I spread myself. I work, and then I'll play ball, and then I'll go golf, and then I'll, you know, I try and do as much as physically possible. Well, my vice that keeps me rooted and keeps me from going crazy is I have these things that allow me to completely unwind. And at a point in my life, it was working on cars. I used to work on cars. That was like I would put headphones in, work on cars, and the world would disappear. It was completely blissful. It was like everything just was gone. Nothing existed. That completely died the day I became a mechanic. The day I decided to become a mechanic for a living now is tainted. I don't even want to work on my own fucking car. I hate it.
Trained a lot of technicians, dude, and that's the first thing I would tell them is like, make sure before you walk in here and do this that you're okay with not having this passion.
My passion died.
Boom.
It died. It died because it was my job, and it was like every fucking day was different, bro.
Bro, it's more than that.
I got
dude.
an
You're there
alternator
10
on
hours plus a
Monday.
day, dude.
You do an alternator, then the next day you're dealing with a fucking something, and you're just like, this shit sucks.
Well, even then, dude, it's still not the same. You're dealing with the people, and I know what you're going to say. Maybe you're good in corporate environments, whatever, but dealerships are a whole other world, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're in a dealership or not, but dealerships are, you know, good old boy industry type thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, man, you just it's
Yeah,
it's
see, I wasn't
shit.
in a dealership. I was freelance, and
That's good.
and that was cool, but you know, the job itself, right? I made good money. I was charging good numbers. I did good work. You know, I was simultaneously also working at an AutoZone, so I was getting 20% off discount on the parts, and I wasn't telling them. So my margins were high. I was making good money, right? So, but the thing is, it wasn't that I hated working on cars. It's that I lost my ability to use that as a vice.
So everyone has an unwind thing. Like, let's say it's drinking. If I came to you and I said, you know what, I want you to drink this many drinks in the day, and you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's no longer an unwind thing.
No, it's now a responsibility.
Now it's no longer a vice.
Yeah. So that's what happened with
So-
working on cars. And what it turned into was cooking. Cooking became blissful to
You
me.
cook?
Listen, I'm about to tell you the story. You
I'm
keep
just-
cutting me off. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm excited, bro.
Listen.
Tell me.
So it turned into, at this time in my life, it turned into cooking. And again, for anyone who knows me, you know I do everything at the highest level. I don't dabble in anything. So when I started getting into cooking, it wasn't, hey, let me learn how to just cook. It was like, I want to learn everything. And I spent I think it was about 12 months of my life at that time. And my friends who know me at a close level at that time knew me. I was learning how to cook in other countries. I wanted to learn. I think the first country I started off with after learning American etiquette was learning Japanese culture. I learned how to prepare. I learned how to use a butcher knife. I learned how to cut their way. I learned how to use their flavor palettes. And then I transitioned to Indian culture. I learned how to use spices that we don't use. We don't use cumin on a consistent basis. In most things Indian, you use cumin, almost everything. I learned how to prepare. I learned how to use, you know, different fruits and vegetables that you just don't use. Like when I was learning Japanese culture, you know, you start to use things that, like bok choy, we don't use that. In America, there's not many dishes we use that.
You know, there's a mini one.
The what?
There's a mini bok choy.
I haven't had that.
It's interesting.
But that was my point, right? I got really, really, really into it. Like now, if you go into my kitchen, I've got all types of knives that are used in different countries. I've cutting boards that are used based on what you cook with. I mean, and there was I think it was after that 12 months of learning it at a really high level and being able to really make some exquisite dishes, that turned into a passion of, man, I think I want to open a restaurant. And this was before getting into the business realm, right? This was mid of me having multiple jobs to make good money, but not knowing what niche was going to be my fast track to the top. And I always knew I was going to get up there. I just didn't know which wagon I was going to hitch to.
Yeah.
So there was a part of me that said, I think I'm going to open a restaurant. I talked to some friends, right? And they came over, I cooked, and they were like, dude, this is legit. A lot of my friends, close friends who've ate with me, they're like, yeah, that motherfucker can cook. So there was a big part of me who wanted to open a restaurant. And I'm going to say this now publicly. I don't know how many times I've ever said this before. The only reason I didn't bet everything on it, take out a business loan and open a restaurant was the fear that if I did it, I would hate it. That fear scared the living.
You've already done it before.
It happened to me before. Had it not happened to me,
you wouldn't know.
Had it just been in a book or some literature I read, I would have said the same thing I say about everything in life is I'm an anomaly. That won't happen to me.
And that's another reason that I kind of took the podcast in a different turn, not to make money so much.
Yeah.
At first, it was like, I'm going to get so much money from this. Now it's, okay, honestly, yeah, I get famous, I guess, in a way, whatever. But that's side thing. The main thing is not making it a passion. I want to keep that going.
Yeah.
I love doing it, So it's like, or content creation in general, dude.
So, like, to sum it, that was my fear. That was, to this date, as we're speaking, that was the reason I didn't open a restaurant. And again, at that time, I had the intention of opening a restaurant and being a chef. I was not stupid enough to be the executive chef, but maybe I would have been the sous chef and learned under someone who had done this before, or maybe I would have been a line chef. And I wanted to cook, though. And again, I have no problem being the owner and not being the head chef. I wasn't equipped to be a head chef, right? I'm equipped to be in the back. I know enough to be in the back of any kitchen right now, but not be in charge. So that was my intent. And that was my goal. I was just too fearful that being in there cooking was going to make me hate cooking, and then I was going to hate my life, and then so on and so forth. So I didn't do it. But that dream and that passion had always been there. So when this opportunity came up, I wanted it. And I think I said it to you. I wanted it bad.
Oh, dude, you call. So, like, we go through the first meeting, right? And it's like it was an okay meeting, I guess. But, first meeting, apparently, according to Kevin, is not supposed to go the way it did. It's supposed to be a grill session from the guy that's interviewing another dude that's going to invest in his company.
Yeah.
So Fabian was supposed to be grilling you on why you even deserve a chance to put money in, essentially, right?
And that was the first. So here's a series of first red flags I
so.
caught. When we did the first meeting, right, he did some things right. He made me sign a non-disclosure
By the
agreement.
way, dude, I don't know if Fabian listens to this at all. It's not like or watches this. This is not going to be a dog on you at all.
No.
This is going to be
a teaching moment.
A teaching moment
that I hope you hear, because you could have caught a big fish. I'm just being honest.
And if he, exactly. Right.
I mean, this is just honest teaching. You could have caught a big fish. Here's the problem. He did a great job. He made me sign a non-disclosure agreement. So there are things I can and can't say. That's a great thing he did. He had a great business plan. His business plan made sense.
I still haven't signed that.
There were some very fatal flaws in the business plan. There were some huge red flags in the business plan. But he had one, and it made sense. I think things started to go downhill when in the first session he allowed me to take control of it. And here's the reality. I give it to you like this. If I'm a business owner and you're coming in for an open position that I have, the first sit down, I should be in control of it. It's my business. It's my position. I get to determine whether or not you come in.
What are you doing in that moment? Even if you're not going with business, you're actually creating that impression, and you've got to create that impression.
Of dominance, of control. And here's the reality. I understand as someone who's trying to raise capital that you need that person. You probably need them more than they need you, and that's the truth. But let's be honest.
Well, you can say the truth and be confident in it.
But again, let me teach for a moment. Let me tell you the truth. Let's say I needed an HR manager. Absolutely need it. I needed it bad. And you were one of the best HR managers in the industry. The truth is, I may need you more than you need me. But at the very end of the day, this is my position, my company, and I'm in control. So as much as you or I may both know I need you more than I need you, I need you to respect the position and opportunity that I have, and that means our first sit down, I'm in control. I'm not saying I'm going to be disrespectful or blatantly, off, or I'm going to treat you like crap. I'm not saying that. But I am saying if there was someone sitting there watching this and they said, who do you think dominated that conversation, they should never say you.
It's the guy with the business plan.
It's the guy with the opportunity.
Yeah.
Period. Is business plan aside, none of that's irrelevant. I've got the opportunity. And that's got to be your honest belief. I have your opportunity, and I think you're going to be a great asset to fit that. And I knew it was going sideways, and this was my first red flag when I had full control of that conversation. Full control. But again, I ignored that one not for the dream, but I ignored that one because of my innate mentality and how intimidating I am. And I said, you know what? Maybe the guy just was a little intimidating. He let me run it.
Well, and then he did say. I mean, he didn't say it was. He's done this a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all knew it was first time thing.
Yeah,
going
first
on,
go around. So there's some things you kind of chalk up to inexperience, and that was kind of the first catch, the first ploy of it, right?
The whole time I'm just like drinking my Dos Equis. Like,
yeah, he don't know what the hell's going on. He's just intensely watching
learning.
this shit
I'm
like
learning.
a reality movie.
Dude, it was good. It was good.
You know.
Good stuff.
And again, I know what's going on, right? So I'm trying my best to take control of it. And I'm trying to see when he's going to put his foot down and say, "No, dude, like this is my stuff." I'm waiting for you to say halt, and it just never happened. You know, I controlled that thing from start to finish. You know, I really did. You know.
Well, and another thing I'll say is, just as a, I don't know, benefit of the doubt, I guess, he runs in a customer service industry. That's all he's ever done.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if he's used to getting in there and
But here's the
controlling
thing.
it like that.
That's the scariest part.
It's almost like you're the customer in that position.
But that's the scariest part. Here's the thing. You're asking someone to bet, we're not going to talk numbers, but you're asking someone to bet over 6 figures of cash on you and your ability to get this done. And you can't control this conversation. You want me to give you 6 figures on a limb that you're going to get this done? That's scary. Here's the thing. This is what I firmly believe. I believe this now. I believed it then. Those are not things that are detrimental. They're just inexperience. When things got bad is when realizing he had no plan to offset the inexperience.
So, and also, I don't know if he, was going to change anything.
No, he had no interest. And this is the point that I was making.
Yeah.
Listen, it's like the old cliche we said, right? People want to hire people with 5 years of experience, but no one wants to hire you to get those 5 years of experience. So you're stuck in this paradox of who the heck's going to give me a shot before I have the experience so that I could get the experience. So I'm not saying you're at fault because you've never done this before. I was a first-time business owner when I opened my first business. Everyone was a first-time business owner when they opened their first business. The truth is, the thing that fixes that is you must have a plan to offset that, to compensate for that. Listen, I know what I'm strong at, and I also very consciously know what I'm terrible at. One of the things that I absolutely suck at, and if Travis is watching, Travis was episode 1, him and I talked about it. I suck at first encounters of not coming off like a dick. Most first encounters, people think...
That's the first thing you said to me.
And most
phone.
people
Did
think...
I come off like a dick?
I'm like a dick. That's what people think.
You said, I have a guy that's my freaking mediator.
So I have a guy. I have a dude. Travis and I talked about it. I have a guy. When I do these business meetings, when I do negotiations, when I do contract negotiations, every so often we've got to redo a deal or whatever. I bring a guy who's really nice, and all his job is to be like, he's not an asshole. It's just how he is. And his job is to lighten the mood at times when I'm a little too stern and tough. And when Travis introduces me, he's been the median between many business relationships because he's my my point of contact for my distribution company. So a lot of times when I'm getting felt and I'm getting these contracts with these different shingle manufacturers, it's him introducing us. And I tell him, I need you to let them know how I am. I need you to prep them. So he'll tell them, hey, listen, this guy's going to come off like an asshole. He's not an asshole. He's just very business oriented. He's a real nice guy. He's just not going to, he just preps them.
Yeah.
So things go smoothly. I need that median. But my point is, and what I'm reeling all this in is to say is, I'm conscious of what I'm weak at, and I make sure that there is a plan of action to offset and compensate for that. The thing I think that put me in a real bad place outside of the crap numbers and the equity that I discovered was realizing he really firmly believed he needed no help, wanted no help, and didn't want to concede on any help. And I don't think it was arrogance of I think I can do this alone. I think it was pride of I want to do this alone. I want to accomplish this by myself. I want to be on the magazine.
But he I have to have this money.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of agree with that.
I think, and this is my firm belief, I think if there were 2 offers on the table, both of them could get him the amount of money he needed to get the ship off the ground. One of them was going to silently do nothing, and one of them was going to help him, but take credit. He would have taken this one.
Right.
He would have taken the silent money. And the problem is that I refuse to give over 6 figures to a deal on a first-time entrepreneur who has shown me that you're not capable. You've shown me that in these encounters, and you're not willing to take help.
Yeah, the few teaching moments for me were like, the equity part of it, and then you saying, like, this is a marriage. It's harder to divorce in this than it is in an actual marriage. And that was like, oh, crap. And then,
yeah,
seeing how that goes was
and
like,
for those of you who aren't aware, I've got someone coming on, I think in 2 weeks, who's going to talk about LLCs and S corps and all that fun stuff. But getting out of a business partnership, getting out of an equity partnership is legally harder than divorcing someone. It is extremely difficult. I've got a good buddy of mine, Brandon, who owns True Labs. We've talked about them. We love those guys to death. He's, I think, 18 months into a litigation between him and a business partner who not only hasn't worked and who has put a stance that he doesn't want to be there, who has also created a competing product, and he still can't get out of that deal yet. He's still fighting to get that guy out of his partnership, and the guy made a competing product.
It's so crazy, man. You watch Social Network, and they make it seem like it's so easy to kick people out like that.
It's not. It's impossible. Here's the reason why it's impossible. If I want out and you want me out, you can't get me out unless we agree on an evaluation of the company. The evaluation of the company, or what could be centered around the EBITDA, is a basis of a fabricated number. We could be bringing in $10 million in revenue. That's not the evaluation of the company, because we have systems, processes, people, future, possibilities, growth, expansion,
right,
vision. All of that comes up with a made-up number. If we're doing $10 million in revenue, you could say, Kevin, I believe the company is worth $10 million. I could say, I believe the company is worth $20 million, and here's why. If you're not willing to agree with me and I'm not willing to agree with you, well, then we ain't got anything.
Too bad.
Then we keep moving and keep moving and keep moving.
Well,
and
the
moving.
same thing, like divorce is like that. If you don't agree to 50-50 or whatever, then you keep moving and moving. But like that can go on forever because there's a lot more things.
Because the difference is a mediator or even an arbitrator can sit down with a couple, a married couple getting divorced. Every single thing you own has intrinsic value.
Right.
Everything. It has a current actual cash value. It's an ACV to ownership. There's no such thing as an expanding or growing value of a marriage. Nothing is ever changing. Everything has an actual cash value with depreciation. If we got married and we own a home, there's an evaluation that could be done on what that home is worth today. There is no such evaluation to be done on an ever-changing and ever-growing company.
Right.
Right? So the problem is that you can have evaluations done. And for example, I have people who've gotten out of partnerships. They've had evaluations done. They said, I hired an evaluator. This is what he valued the company at. And I could still say, nah, don't believe it.
Right.
Here's why I believe the company is actually worth more than that.
Right.
And I want to be paid a severance package or a distribution based on the evaluation that I see fit.
Because it's impossible. It's impossible.
And vast majority of people who are being kicked out or forced out, they're going to make that number higher than what it truly is because that's what they're getting paid to leave, to walk away with. So that's the reason it's so complex and so tough with business deals. And I think one of the things that was so pertinent to me in that deal was that the guy, his investment was sweat equity. And sweat equity is just a job.
I mean, and the other thing about that, was just the amounts, and it was just like, man, even I saw that though, like looking at it, and I was like, that's weird, It
didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was like, that's interesting, but I was waiting because I didn't really know for sure, and I didn't know if maybe he might come around and
or
say
change,
some things,
change,
and
here's
have
the thing.
some different ideas.
And here's the thing. I didn't just say, hey, look, this is what needs to change. I give you honest feedback. I give you honest opinions. I give you honest,
Well, yeah, and the whole time, like, it's in between me going, and I realized, like I said, that this was a job. I didn't know that. I didn't know this existed.
Mediation is a job.
Dude. I'm like, dude, let's go.
Yeah, mediation's a job.
It was super fun, honestly. I was into it.
Yeah, I mean, but unfortunately it didn't work. It didn't work for many reasons, And it is what it is, right? It's not that I wish it would have worked. I just wish
Well, look, man, if you walked in there and you didn't have that dream in your head,
I would have gotten out a lot
it
faster.
would have gone a lot different. Exactly.
Yeah, I would have gotten out almost probably the first day. If that wasn't something that was already in me, I would have saw the red flags that came off day one, and I would have been like, no.
But then my thing is, too, like, how do you ever just get into something like that without having some kind of just some kind of small passion about it.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
restaurant business is not glamorous,
but I also
bro.
believe
It's not like something that's going to make you billions of dollars.
But here's the thing: before it even came to me, I believe he didn't have an evaluation done. I don't believe he sat with anyone who he explained things and allowed them to poke holes in it. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people know one of my entities, well before I labeled it. Right now, it has a company, it has an LLC, it has an EIN. But my first company ever was my enterprise where I was doing business consulting. That was my first company that I ever opened as a sole proprietor. It was just me. I was doing business consulting. I was doing essentially the two major coins of it was I have a failing company and I need to fix it, or I'm getting ready to start a company and I'd like to sit down with you and run through it and help me get it off the ground. So for me, it was very obvious that wasn't done because that is something I've done. I've been hired to do those things. I've been hired to sit with people who want to start companies and want to sit down with me for X amount of time, X amount of sessions, and go, can you help me know what I'm missing? It was very obvious to me he didn't do that with anyone.
Right.
It was just on a whim and him and Microsoft Word putting together a business
and here's
plan.
what I'll say. The people that he did do it with, like sit down and talk to, like me, for instance, he did that with me for some reason. He had other people there as well whenever I was at the first meeting with me and him, and it was other people in the industry that also did not own anything as far as businesses go.
And didn't know how this was done.
And didn't necessarily know how it was
and here's
done,
the thing, right? Like
they were, I mean, I'm not going to say they weren't like making money high up people. They were in their own thing. Like some of them were like freaking crazy alcohol reps that were like all top running all this marketing stuff and whatever, but it wasn't the same thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? A typical business consultant.
And they still worked for somebody.
A pre-opening business consultant typically is going to cost you anywhere between, $1,000 and $3,000. And if you're talking about a project that is on the higher side, the majority side of $1 million, that $3,000 may be worth it. And I say that not to be a dick, but that $3,000 might have helped you find out the errors that would have gotten you your first investor, a first six-figure investor, and that probably could have catapulted to that person finding you two other six-figure investors, and that could have probably got the plane off the ground.
The other main thing, the main takeaway is that you don't have to have everything to start. Like you can be a guy that goes and finds people that have the things you need
that help you fix the gaps
and start something.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard for me too. Like,
but at the same time,
like I want to do all of it. Like I think I got to have everything ready and have everything myself, and then start this business.
Yeah, but I don't knock that one. I don't knock that one because if you come to me with an incomplete business plan, now you're giving me way more leverage. Now I have way more leverage to ask for more. Like,
no. I'm not saying he didn't. It wasn't like something wrong he did. I'm saying I took away that. Oh my gosh, you can do this. You can make a freaking business plan. You can go into it. You can not have literally any equity ready to go and be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to find some people and we're going to make this happen.
I'll have $0.
And I
basically.
get that. Obviously, people have said that's a thing. I get that is a thing, and I knew that was a thing, but I had not seen.
You mean have $0?
Have $0
and start a company.
Let's just say it. Have $0 and start a company. I saw it firsthand with the guy that wanted to do it.
Well, the question is,
and I'm like, wait a second, how is this even working?
Well, the question is he found the money? Is he still looking?
Well, that's another reason I called you first. I'm like, this guy doesn't have anything, but let's see what Kevin says. You're like, I'm interested. Let's see. I'm like, what the heck?
Is he still looking?
This is a thing,
or has he found the money? He's still looking.
I actually did not. I did not sign an NDA. By the way, if you're watching, Fabian, like you never really. I'm not gonna say shit about it. I'm not a dick. But
he's still looking.
I don't know if he is.
As in, he might have found it.
I never even got with him. I haven't gotten with him yet to even seal a deal with me. Because I backed
I'm not
off.
asking for intricate questions. Is he found it or is he still looking?
Oh, he's I don't know. That's the problem. I think he's still looking. If your question is the way it is, he's still looking.
Okay, so it hasn't worked.
But yeah, it hasn't worked.
Yeah. That's
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's doing something else. I'm not sure.
Or he's giving up.
We'll see. We'll see. What you said in the middle of this whole meeting stuff. You were like, you know what? He's gonna do all this, and then if you don't have me or he doesn't have you, it's gonna go in a binder and it's gonna go
in a cabinet. Yeah, I said that.
That hit me, dude. That hit me because I went up and talked to him, and I'm like, you were a consultant, and that's literally the gold for this whole thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The other guys that I had in mind, they were never consultants, but they have owned businesses.
Yeah.
They weren't going to walk in and be like, let me help you. They were going to walk in and be like, nah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like a compliment, I guess,
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
but also not. It's kind of both.
Yeah.
But like and so that's why at that point I was like, hold on a second. Even though they might have even more than you were going to put in.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I wanted to use that resource.
Yeah.
You know? And then you said, you're like, well, it doesn't matter for you necessarily. And I was like, okay, maybe you're right there. Yeah, obviously. I guess it doesn't really
Yeah,
do,
but here's the thing that I
then again,
realized.
I'm like, wait a second.
This is the point you're making, and this is the toughest thing to say, and if he hears it, it is what it is. I'll say it. I firmly believe you're not equipped to fly this plane alone. I firmly believe you are not capable of flying this plane alone.
And the fact is, it's not a bad thing,
But
dude.
this is the reason I
You know?
say it. This is not a negative connotation. This is the reason I say it. What you're trying to accomplish is not a single two-man plane. You're trying to get a 747 off the ground.
Right.
No smart commercial airline flies a 747 with only one pilot. No one.
Yeah.
It is a liability. It doesn't matter if you get the greatest pilot on earth. You do not fly 747 with one pilot. What if he gets sick? What if he passes out? What if he gets freaking glycoma? You do not fly a 747.
That's the eye disease, right?
Listen, yes. You don't fly a 747 with one pilot. It's not a knock on you. You have a co-pilot, period, point blank. That was the biggest thing that was so obvious to me, is you're trying to fly this thing alone. And I asked the simple questions. What about your vacation? What about if you get sick? What about if you get
your daughter
injured?
has a recital.
What if you have to go somewhere? And every answer was passion-based, not experience-based. Well, don't worry, I'll be there. You know, if I have a recital, I'm going to prioritize work. Listen, as much as I respect that answer, because I've been there in my career, you don't bet on that answer. You don't bet on that because, bro, priorities will shift. Listen, I say this with the utmost respect. When money starts coming in, everything changes. You may be the hardest working person on the planet, but when the money starts coming in, it gets harder to wake up at 6 a.m. When the money starts coming in, it gets harder to stay out there when your daughter has a recital.
Even when it's passion. Because honestly, that passion gets killed. Like slowly.
Yeah, I mean,
doing it like
listen,
for a business.
Denzel said it best. Passion gets you started. Discipline keeps you going.
Boom. Yeah, you're right about that. And discipline's the business side. And
100%.
passion is maybe the dream. But, you know, you got to have both.
100%. So, I mean, that was one of the reasons why I was like, this isn't going to work and I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, dude, I'm not necessarily giving up on the whole idea of a restaurant. So, but,
yeah. You know, you talked about this other concept. You know. You have to sit down and see if this guy takes control of the situation.
Hold up, man. It's not like some crazy thing that I'm really serious about, but you know, I've thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, the way your boy Joe is doing things, you know,
dude. And you know, even when we were in the middle of that meeting, I was literally thinking, we're about to hit a recession, and I, you know, predicting or whatever, but we're going to be in. We will hit a recession. Already, right?
We will. I mean, we're
technically
very
already
close.
there, right?
We're
like,
very, very.
It's been like 2 quarters already, or 3 quarters.
I think we're like a
downturn.
month away before it technically becomes a recession.
Point is, dude,
a recession has to be 6 months.
Well,
we entered bear market already. We're in a recession. It just hasn't technically become a recession.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, and then it's just going to get worse, in my opinion. So we might sustain for a year, and then it'll just get worse again. But whatever. Point is, I was thinking about that in the meeting. I'm like, man, this is a, restaurant.
Tough time
to do that.
Very tough time.
It's either a tough time or the best time. So it's like kind of,
depending on how you do it.
Yeah,
it's all about. It's not about your plan. It's about how you execute. And when you decide to buy all the bells and whistles and invest the most money and put it together in the best way, that's probably the bad idea.
And the other thing you told me, dude, one of the biggest takeaways, another big takeaway is like, you were like, look, dude, if I wanted to make money, man, I would get with some guys and like flip a house real quick.
Yeah.
And make some good cash.
Yeah. Your return is probably 20, 30, 40%.
So, and that kind of hit me a little bit. I was like, well, then, yeah, obviously you have. That's why I said you have to have a little bit of passion when you go into something like this.
You got to want to do it.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to walk in and be like, I'm going to make money from this.
Yeah,
come on.
I mean, here's the reality, right? And I'm not giving numbers or anything like that, but return on investment was estimated between 3 and 4 years. You're not doing this to make money. You could take that same amount of money and buy a apartment complex, or buy a quadplex, or buy a duplex, or buy a couple houses on a lot. Demo them, build a new one, and actually probably get 150% return within 9 to 12 months.
Corey, that's why there's all the real estate guys out here. Oh my God, this is amazing. But like, I just don't have a passion for that at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
I mean, that's my point. And again, one of the biggest dreams that I have in life with the businesses I have now, it doesn't fix it. I want to be able to walk into something and say, this is mine. You know, yeah, we've got offices, right? And that's cool, whatever. But I want to be able to take some friends and walk into something.
An actual, yes. I know what you mean,
this
dude.
is mine.
I know what you mean.
You know?
And like your type of business that you're in isn't really the thing.
No, I mean, I've got business, right? We're making money. We got people. We got shirts. We got offices.
Sure.
But it's like I can't bring...
A lot of it is kind of remote in a way. So it's
I mean, I can't bring a group of people on a Friday, walk in and go, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we built this.
Show people the fruits of what you've done.
Can't do that.
Can't do it.
And that was one of the things. It's like, you know, it's a dream of mine. But the reality is when you take away the dream and you get down to the brass, the true brass, the nitty gritty, the screws and nuts, it's not a great deal.
Yeah. I agree. Well, like now with the podcast, man, it's just know as many people as possible, in my opinion. That's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
I want to know as many people as possible. And so that's why I'm shifting everything, dude. My co-host is gone. He said he's out. You know,
when did he say that?
This is, you know, a few weeks ago, I guess, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I haven't done a podcast in a while, which if any of my listeners are watching this, man, apologies, I guess. But, you know, I'm trying to figure some stuff out. So
yeah. What's his thing? He's just tired or what?
He has a family now, okay?
Yeah,
and he didn't say that was the reason, but he did say what ended up happening is, you know, he said I wasn't putting enough effort in. That's what he said to me, right? And I'm like, whoa, it was just interesting how he said that. And I was like, man, that's not cool. There's not even that much money involved in this whole thing, right? It's not like some freaking crazy business or anything. And I said, okay, man, cool. Well, I'll see you later, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all that really happened.
Yeah.
That's all I'm really going to say about that. You know,
meant.
But you know, he's a great guy. He's a super awesome guy.
Yeah.
He is very passionate about politics. You know, but all in all, dude, I think it's mutually for the best. You know, he wants to do some media stuff, and he might. I don't know if he will or not. Maybe he does. Whatever. More power to him, dude. He should. Like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
I don't want a Ben Shapiro on my show.
Yeah, you know.
And that's what ended up happening is, you know, I said I'm going to go in a direction, and it may not be what you want, but I want it to be entertaining. I want people to come on that aren't even part of politics, and maybe we talk about politics. Like I'm on your show right now, and we talked about politics.
Yeah.
But I don't think you've had a guest that talked about politics yet.
No.
But that can happen. That's possible. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why can't I have a fitness trainer on or some crap and talk to them about what they do and like what their life is like and all that stuff? You know what I mean? The whole reason I got into this in the first place was because I had seen Joe Rogan before I went to jail, obviously, and it was even before he was like as big as he is now. But like, I was into that. That's freaking sick.
Yeah, it's dope.
Like getting to do that every day.
Just getting to talk to people.
Talk to these freaking people. Yeah, it's amazing, dude.
You get to learn about them.
Dude, and then this whole thing with the deal, even if it didn't go through, man, it literally made it even more solid in me. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, dude,
because you got to see it all happen.
And I'm like, this is why I do what I do, man.
And you were in a great position because all of the things that I was thinking I expressed to you. So you got to not only witness it, but you also got to hear my mind.
Right.
And that's a dope place to be in to kind of learn. And that's really what podcasting is not only seeing what happened face value, but also getting an understanding of why you thought that, where that train of thought came from, why you were thinking this.
That's why it's
and
long
getting
form,
to get
dude.
deeper.
It's long form. You need to know the people.
Yeah. No, it's dope. It's dope. I'm glad she's using that treadmill, man. She never uses that treadmill, and she's actually using it. It's pretty dope. Okay, so, Skye, I'm going to hit you with our rapid-fire questions we kind of always end with.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
You ready?
Hit me, bro.
Okay. All right. If you could live in any state that's not Texas, what would it be?
Oh, dude. Easy. Do I have to account for all the stuff in the state
You have to
now?
account for everything. You have to account for the politics. You have to account for the tax rate.
That was easy.
You had to account for all of it.
Right now, if it wasn't Texas.
Right now, which put California not at the top. If that's who you're thinking.
No.
If you got, well, let me say that. If you got to eliminate the politics and the tax rate and all that, I'd be like, California is dope. You know, but
right. That's why I asked the question I asked. It was going to
okay.
be Washington State, but you said that, and I'm like, nah, cancel that out. See you later. Colorado.
For sure.
Dude, the problem with this question is that obviously this is supposed to be rapid fire, but whatever. I'm going to go into it, dude. The future is not bright for a lot of states as far as politics go.
Yeah.
And so but the terrain, dude, and the
Yep.
people are still
It's
freaking
beautiful.
nice.
People are amazing.
You want to talk about like lukewarm? Texas is lukewarm. Everyone thinks we're all freaking crazy red, dude. Texas is the freaking most lukewarm political state. Everyone's nice.
Well,
We're not-
technically, we are crazy red.
no, technically we are by the way we vote. I'm saying the
Technically,
people on the streets that you meet,
well, yeah, no. Well, the thing
they're all
is,
center, bro.
the reason we are a crazy red state is not the major cities. It's
Rural areas.
everything outside
Yeah,
of the
I
major
get it,
cities.
But anyway, so Colorado, all the people are freaking awesome. They're
Yeah.
not all crazy, blue hair,
Yeah, yeah.
left wing people.
Well, in my
They're not.
opinion,
So-
and I'll give you this caveat. Outside of, and again, I'm a city boy, right? So I love cities. I love Dallas.
No way.
I love New York. I'm a
Wouldn't
city
know,
boy,
dude.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
But outside of that, Denver, Colorado is my favorite city in the United States.
well, you know me. I love hiking, dude. I love getting out there, dude.
I love it, man. Everyone is so nice. They're so
Yeah.
incredible. The scenery is insane.
Yeah.
I did my skydive in Denver, jumped out of a plane over the mountains, and it was.
So
it
is that your state? What state would you choose?
No, I wouldn't choose that state. If I had to choose any state that wasn't Texas,
No, screw you. That's what he said.
no. But
I'm
don't
just
get me
kidding.
wrong. I love Denver. I think I would go Florida.
I knew you were. I see. If I was thinking logistically, I would have thought Florida.
I would go
But
Florida.
I was thinking passion and mountains.
There's so much money in Florida. There's so much opportunity.
Oh,
the big
dude, for
cities
sure.
are big.
Yeah.
The lights are bright.
And it's not changing that way. anytime soon, I
Beautiful,
don't think so.
beautiful women.
Right.
Florida.
And Miami's insane, dude.
100%.
And you're a
100%.
city guy,
I'm a city guy.
so you'd go right to Miami.
I'd go right to Miami.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be on Miami Beach. Find a way. I don't care how much it is. I got to find a way.
Sheesh.
Got to find a way, man. I got to start me at OnlyFans.
Get you whatever the flowery like dress shirt.
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
Cubans
buttoned
wear.
all the way down.
Yeah.
All right, they'd
Those
probably think
freaking, like,
they would think I was
crazy
Dominican.
designs
They would
and stuff.
definitely think
Oh,
I was Dominican.
Easy, bro.
Hey, papi.
Yeah, except you're like 9 foot tall.
You know,
That's the only thing
man.
that's-
All the
that's
Dominican baseball players in Miami, just like that, built just like me.
Okay, all right.
All right, next question. All right, if you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? One food. Would you say a sandwich?
Hold on. No, I don't know. I almost said no. I didn't say sandwich, bro. What the hell? No, that's not what I was gonna say. He's laughing over here.
Oh, he's laughing. He said sandwich. This motherfucker said a sandwich.
Sandwich? What the hell?
He's thinking of jail sandwiches.
Bro, y'all need to chill the hell out.
All right.
I just stopped whenever you said rest of your life, bro.
You said sandwich. All right,
Jesus
go.
Christ. No,
One food, rest of your life.
salmon. That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, salmon.
Yeah, salmon.
Oh, salmon gets old quick. You sure?
No, you can do a lot of things to that. I love fish, bro.
Salmon gets old quick. All
Love
right.
fish.
Second
It
question.
also has a ton of okay, whatever. Nutrition,
Restaurant. One restaurant, rest of your life.
bro. Oh God, that's hard, bro.
One restaurant, rest of your life. You can order anything from the restaurant, but one restaurant.
But I don't know all the restaurants.
Come on now. Big chain though. Big chain, not individual restaurant. Big chain.
It has to be a big chain restaurant.
Big chain, like a national chain, like a franchise.
Waffle House.
Waffle House. I've never in my entire life wanted Waffle House that wasn't after 3 a.m. between 3 and 5 a.m. in my entire life.
Bro, are you kidding me? They make it right there on the spot.
I've
You see
never
them make it.
been to a Waffle House outside of the hours of 3 and 5 a.m.
Everyone always says that. You don't go if you're not drunk. Dude, bro, if you go in there, dude, they make it right in front of you.
I'm
It's
gonna be
still
honest.
good.
No. I want to ask.
Bacon,
I want to
eggs.
ask everyone.
Hash browns?
If you walked into a Waffle House at 10 a.m., like normal hours, who do you think you're more likely to see? Me, the guy who clubs, or this white guy right here? Probably him, right?
Oh, fuck off.
I would
Okay,
never
hold
be
on.
there at 10
No,
a.m.
no.
I would never be there at 10 a.m.
Bro,
3 a.m.
me, dude? Nah. Well, me as like a 60-year-old, yeah. That's what you see, older guys.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That
Look,
was
dude,
a shitty
okay.
answer.
Well,
in the
yeah.
comments, let him know that was a shitty answer. This dude said Waffle House.
Rapid fire, man. Stage fright.
All right. You ready? All right. Favorite alcoholic drink, favorite non-alcoholic drink.
Alcoholic drink?
Alcoholic
Can I
and
just say
non-alcoholic.
can I just say a alcohol, a liquor that I like?
Whatever the drink is, bro.
Whatever. Old fashioned is like my favorite. I love
An old fashioned, all right.
it. And
Non-alcoholic.
It's cliche, whatever, but I love it, dude.
Non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic? Red Bull.
Red Bull. Regular, sugar-free.
Regular, dude.
Regular Red
Regular. If you're already getting a Red Bull,
Bull. Okay.
you're gonna put sugar free on that bitch.
I don't drink regular. I only drink sugar-free.
Really?
Yeah. I had a bad experience.
A bad experience with what? The sugar?
When I was a GM, I'm gonna make this story real short. When I was a GM at Klein in Houston, when I was climbing up the ladder, I had this relationship with this girl. She was she worked for the Red Bull marketing promotion team, and every morning they would give them a truck and then a shit ton of Red Bull. And once they got rid of it, they had to go give it out to one person. And once they got rid of it, they were done with the shift.
So you had a whole supply of Red Bull.
So
all the
she
time,
knew the
constantly.
truck that didn't have a tracker.
Yeah.
She would get that truck. She would bring me all the Red Bull. She would drop every single fucking one of them off to me, and then she would go home. Her shift was done.
What is her name?
Look, her shift was done. So for, I think it was my first 9 months as a GM. This is my first club as a GM. Just became a GM. And the culture in the fitness industry, the sales industry there, was we would hop energy drinks, and then that's how we would push ourselves to sale. So it would be 3 o'clock.
no.
Prime time starts at 5. We'd bang down 2 Red Bulls. Let's fucking go! And we'd write deals, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there was about a 9-month stretch where I was banging down 5 or 6 of them, the regular ones, or the flavored ones, the blueberry, that she would
8
bring all the
ounce,
flavors.
12 ounce.
It was 8 ounces. But
Okay,
you got to realize, I'm
No,
drinking
that's
5
crazy.
a day.
They're 80 milligrams of caffeine per.
Yeah,
so.
and again, she wasn't dropping off sugar-free. She was dropping
Right.
off the flavors because they were promoting the new flavors.
Yeah.
I gained 30 pounds. Just my regimen didn't change. My diet didn't change. Just from the intake of that sugar and the different carbonation and how that affected me.
But you didn't say I only have that drink. You just said non-alcoholic beverage that I love, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I was just saying.
I'm not going to drink them like that.
Yeah, no,
I was at a
just
point
saying.
in my life whenever I would do 2 16 ounces a day, and yeah, man, I'm not going back there.
Yeah,
I didn't gain weight, but it was like the freaking heart, dude. You
Yeah.
can tell when you're hopped up on caffeine, bro. Headache, nausea, It's
No, I
sucks.
get it. I
sucks.
get it. Yeah, it's hard to get off. It's hard to wean off. Okay. All right, next question. Coffee or energy drink? And I think I kind of already know that one now, right?
No. I actually love coffee.
So you would choose coffee over an energy drink?
Yeah, I mean, I would say depending on the time of the day, but yeah, if you're asking me straight up, if I could have coffee or energy drink for the rest of my life, I'd choose coffee.
You choose coffee?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Okay. I wouldn't. I choose energy drink.
Really?
Yeah, man. I got coffee, right? I had the Keurig, then I upgraded to the Nespresso. I've got a whole coffee
Get out of
station.
here, bro. I had the Keurig.
It didn't do
bro,
anything,
that's not that
man.
good, bro.
It doesn't. Well, that's why I got a fucking Nespresso.
Get out of here with that shit.
You know how much that Nespresso cost?
I
An
don't give a
Nespresso was like $350.
Doesn't matter, bro. Get the real shit.
What real shit?
Where you at with the
This
Briville?
motherfucker goes to
The Briville.
Starbucks, right?
Brevier. How you Brevier?
You go to
The freaking
Starbucks?
Espresso.
You go to
No, I
Starbucks?
don't actually.
Don't lie.
I don't. Okay, look, you ready? Full disclosure. I also use a Keurig. But, look, dude, check this out, dude. My friends all use a Briville, and it's like a freaking espresso thing.
You don't have that
Whatever,
one, though. You're talking about your friends. You got the Keurig. You use
Well,
the
I have
Starbucks
French press, too. And
K-Pods.
I have a French press, too, and I use that instead.
Okay, all right, next question. Of all the sports in the
I used to
world,
live in Washington, bro. I'm a snob about coffee.
if you could be a professional athlete in any sport, and I mean any sport, that could be boxing, surfing, skateboarding. What sport?
Oh, I
would
already
be?
got it. MMA.
MMA. That would be what you would pick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Passion or what?
Isn't that weird?
I mean, the cauliflower ear is probably the only downside.
I don't even watch it that much.
It's just your thing. It's just what you like.
I would love to do that. That'd be
All right.
badass. That's why I don't watch it. Like, so I don't give a shit about watching people fight, but I want to be the guy in that shit.
Yeah,
But I don't want to be on the street,
I do boxing. You can come with me.
dude. Let's go. Honestly, I literally that's.
I
the
go to
skill.
Mahler's
So
MMA
you know
down
how
the
you
street.
choose a skill every once in a while?
Yeah.
That skill is the one I want to do right now this year.
Yeah, I used to do it a lot, and I
So-
got back into it probably about a year and a half ago. But I used to do it whenever I was younger. I used to do it probably about 3 years straight. So I got back into it about a year and a half ago.
I
Go to
would
Mahler's
do
MMA.
boxing too. Yeah, any of it. I would just do it.
Well, I used to do MMA.
Oh, okay.
Now I've gotten into boxing.
And you're right about the ears, bro.
Yeah,
That gets you.
it's tough, man. It's tough.
Just be good enough not to get hit like that, I guess.
All right, dream car.
Dream car? Oh, easy.
Any vehicle.
Realistic or actually, you know what? It's not even. It's just my dream car all around. 2008 Porsche 911 turbo. Done.
That's the dream car of any car on the planet.
Well, I mean, dude, you gotta understand, bro. I'm thinking like Lambos are too wide. I'm not into that.
Okay.
You can't even get anywhere.
You didn't have to go to car. Maybe it would have been a truck, a Rezvani.
Truck?
I mean,
No, I'm a car guy for sure. I'm definitely a car guy for sure. Man, dude, there's so many cars out there.
okay. All right.
But
Next,
that's cause my current dream car right now is
that's
that.
the one.
So
That's
I'm
a
like,
vision
all
board
right,
car.
whatever.
All right. Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
Okay.
You already know that.
All right. I'm just making sure, man. Mountain man, beard man, mountains or beach.
Look, you can't say I don't like the beach. I love the beach, man. You go
Okay.
and you hang out, but
Blondes or brunettes?
blondes.
Okay. You're kidding. You got these one already, huh? You already got these on your head.
Dude, it's easy.
Okay. All right. This is going to get a little R-rated for those of you guys
Is that
watching.
cliche? That's cliche as fuck. Blondes. God damn.
Tits or ass?
Oh. Damn, dude. Tits.
Okay. This is my second to last question. I've asked this to a lot of my good friends. Could you date a porn star? And why?
So we were just talking about OnlyFans.
Yeah. OnlyFans is not the same as a porn star. I'm talking about a porn star.
But you mean date? What do you mean by date?
Could you
Explain
be
this.
in a committed
Is this serious relationship?
serious relationship? I'm not talking about have a fling. I mean
Serious
in a relationship.
Now, why? I want to preface this because people are going to say I'm insecure, but no, I couldn't.
Okay, and why? And that's okay. A lot of my friends who are confident said the same thing. My best friend said the same thing.
Bro, because like you have. I'm not going to say that I want her to seek my attention only because I don't. Mm-hmm. That's not how that should work. Uh-huh. But I also don't want to be a thing where, let's say she's mad one day. She doesn't have to get attention from me at all. She goes and just gets whatever the fuck she wants from everyone else.
Okay.
Porn star wise, maybe that's different or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
And that's just how I am.
Yeah.
Let alone like values and all that crap that I have or whatever. But that specific thing is why. And you might say that's because of insecurity. And I would say maybe it is or whatever. I don't
think it's always insecurity, but I think a lot of it is.
I mean, relationship, bro.
And the reason I say, so my answer is yes. And I've had a very intellectual conversation with good friends, smart friends about it. Here's the reason why I say yes. One, I think there's two lines that have to be met before I can get into that relationship. But let's say you meet both these lines and we're good. The first line is you can't be a trash porn star. And what I mean by this is if we go to dinner, I need guys jealous, not clowning. That's just the honest truth. That's rule number one. You can't be trash. I don't want my boys like, bro, I saw her giving this dude head and it was terrible.
Bro, okay,
you know what I'm saying? So that's rule number one.
Yeah, but you're trying to think. You said serious relationship.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about marriage. I'm
thinking marriage, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I'm not playing. I'm talking about a committed, serious relationship.
Trump
you can't be trash. Bro. And number two is this has to be your profession. And the reason I think my perspective changed is because I dated a porn star before. And what was eye-opening to me was how much this was not fun to her. This was a job. Like it was like a switch. Mm-hmm. It was like, like, all right, so again, I may have family watching this one, but I went to a strip club one time, and there was this gorgeous girl. I mean, drop-dead gorgeous. But it was super obvious to her that she's just here to make money. You could see it in her face. Mm-hmm. You could see it in how she moved. You could see how she spoke. This was her fucking job. She was a professional. I'm clocked in. Like we're not going out after this. I'm not hanging out with you.
And that's what you want, right? That's
I'm not. Yeah. We're not going to be friends. I'm not going to entertain you. But we're going to be right here, right now.
Right.
This was a job, and getting to see that, I think firsthand, to someone come in, be a pro, clock in, clock out, and none of that shit came home. None of that shit was attached.
Right.
Oh, I could do that.
Okay, so maybe my experience comes from, I was with a stripper, and she always almost brought it home. Like it was like she was never off the clock.
Yeah.
And she acted almost like a stripper to me, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, and I think
I just act like a normal.
To
girl.
me, when I got to see it the other way, it did shift my perspective. Because again, you know me, and a lot of people know me. One of my best traits is my ability to compartmentalize. When I'm doing this is it. Nothing else exists. When I'm doing this is it. Nothing else exists.
Right. That's a good point.
Like if I'm playing ball, for those of you guys who hoop with me, when I'm playing ball, I don't got shit else but this game.
But are you thinking do you want a family at all? Not really. Okay, so
now we're getting into a conversation we don't have time for. But I had a consult for a vasectomy 2 days
get
ago.
out of here, dude.
Conversation
we don't have time for. It's more serious, bro.
Look,
deep.
I had a consult on. I think it was Saturday. I think it was either Saturday or Friday.
And that may play a role in why you said yes
for a vasectomy.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm. And again, it's not that I don't want a family. It's that I just don't foresee that now, and I don't want the accident. I don't want the slip. So it's like if I do decide one day, hey, we're going to have a relationship, I could get them things put back together. It's reversible.
Right.
But what I don't want is to accidentally do that and get derailed, because I'm definitely not planning that anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I ever will want a kid, to be honest. I obviously want someone to carry on my legacy, no doubt, but I could adopt me someone.
Well, that's kind of, so I'm actually in the same boat, because I don't know if I really want a kid.
I could be on my Angelina.
But I do want a legacy, because I'm the last day or whatever, so I'm like, man, let's go.
Yeah, I don't want a kid, man. I don't. Every time I think I might want a kid, I get around my friends with kids, and I'm like, I don't know what the. I was. This is a true story, man. Me and Marco. So Edwin knows Marco well, right? Me and Marco are playing Xbox, right?
Yeah.
We're gaming, we're doing our thing, de-stressing, and then all of a sudden I hear on the mic, right? I got the mic on. Fuck. I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, I got to fucking go. And I'm like, all right. So he texts me. He said, yo, he said, Axel flooded the whole fucking house. And apparently he had stuck a toy in the sink clogged up, left the shit running for like 2 hours. Whole house is flooded. And I'm like, I don't want no fucking kids. What do you want this kid for?
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Like, no doubt, when you have a kid, I'm not knocking it. When you have a kid, yes, you're going to instantly love the shit out of this kid, and this kid's going to be your whole life.
It's different, yeah.
But if you don't have one, I don't want to. I would rather fast forward to when you're smart enough to run my companies.
Well, do you know? Wow. Do you know? Fuck you, dude. Do you know that? Like, we're on a decline as far as people go, like in general.
Yeah, but you also know how we've been overdue for that to be necessary for about 15, 16 years.
Yeah, Bill Gates. I know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
100%.
Golly. Okay. Well,
I'm just speaking real facts.
And I'm on the fence, dude. I don't know if I want one either because, like, honestly, you have a passion to do this business thing, and I actually want to get famous. So I'm like, what am I doing here?
I want to run it up.
I'm not going to get famous.
I want to run it up.
You know what? Actually, you could. But
and I think we've talked about this very
shortly. That's not a setback, actually, because CEOs have 3 kids and stuff like that. That happens.
Man, but
it happens, dude.
But we talked about it earlier. Anytime you give, you take. If I give you anything, I will be taking elsewhere. You have to take
away from somewhere else.
And one of the reasons I'm afraid to have a child is not because I'm going to ignore my child, but because my mentality is to be the best at everything. So I know if I do become a dad,
I'm going to be the best dad ever.
I'm going to be the best fucking dad ever.
Okay, daddy.
We're going everywhere, bro. We're going to Schlitterbahn. We're going everywhere. And I know that's going to eliminate other possibilities to opening. I don't think.
Okay, but have you ever thought about the fact that what if that gave you more fulfillment than you've ever imagined?
I don't want fulfillment. I want accomplishment.
Dude.
The I don't want fulfillment.
Gives you that fulfillment. Fulfillment is like.
I don't want the fulfillment. I want the accomplishment.
All right, whatever.
Facts.
Dude.
I don't want the.
Huh?
I don't. What I accomplish in this earth is not centered about being happy. It's about being remembered, even if I'm remembered by no one. As crazy as that may sound.
Well, let's freaking make it happen then, dude.
You get what I'm saying?
I get it.
So, again, I had the consult. I'm not fully gung-ho on it. I've got to obviously make a decision. The dude did a great job at scaring the shit out of me, and he was like, I'm just being honest. I want to scare you away because this is a very big commitment and yada, yada, yada. But
well, you can always do it back on guys, though, right?
You can, but what he explained was the longer you have it, the weaker your swimmers get.
Yeah.
So, yes, I can fix it in 20 years, but that doesn't mean they're going to be as fertile and strong.
Does it affect your hormones at all?
No, not
really?
Not at all.
Oh, shit.
There's zero effects.
Really?
Zero effects outside of your ability to produce.
I don't know if I believe that.
I'm telling you. I had a real-ass consult with a real-ass doctor who's been doing this 23 years.
I don't give a shit what kind of real-ass doctor they are.
Real-ass doctor.
Real-ass doctors can make mistakes.
It's not hormonal. But you got to remember, it's not that you're not producing sperm. It's not that you're not producing, sperm. You're just not producing the swimmers in it.
I get it.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's affecting your hormones. Your balls are still there. Everything's the same. You're just not fertile. You're sterile.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because that was my fears. I didn't want it to be hormonal and me gain weight and all the different effects that women get.
Then all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to do anything.
You're not the same. And also, I didn't want to rage and I didn't want to be docile. Like, I want to be me. I just don't want.
Have PMS.
I don't want, anyone to try and get me. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being honest, man.
Kevin, it's your time of the week. Get out of here.
I don't want anyone to be like, I'm about to get him. Like, I'm about to lock him up.
Listen to Drake. Dude, I love Drake. Hold on, dude. Drake is my guy, man.
He should have had a vasectomy.
Shit, I love Drake,
I'm not hiding my kid. I'm hiding the kid from the world. Shut your lying ass
He is still, doing it, though. Just to make it clear that you can still do it with a kid.
Yeah, but you know how much easier it is when you have that type of money?
Bro, that's a good point. He probably doesn't even take care of the thing.
You know how much easier it is when you have enough money to have a full-time nanny?
Yeah.
A full-time nanny. A live-in nanny.
I can only imagine.
That man rapped about a song about how you got to use a radio to talk to his friends in his house. Come on, bro.
How is that a brag? Do you want that?
Bro.
Do you want to talk to your friends with a radio in
your house big enough where you got a
radio?
People, that's what he's saying. He's like, my house is that big that I need a radio to tell my friends, come to the other side of the house.
Sorry, bro. I didn't remember this.
The brag is how big the house is.
I get it.
Like, yo, come to the left wing.
That was my bad.
You get what I'm saying?
Definitely slipped that
one.
My
man got wings.
You got past me, Drake.
He got wings.
This time.
The man got a basketball court in his crib. You don't want a basketball court in your crib? Bro.
Dude, I'm white.
I want a full size court. I want my logo in the middle.
think I can
I'm gonna
jump?
have this one day. I swear to you, I'm gonna snip this part out and save this on my phone, so that way in 10 years I can put this part. I will have a full size basketball court with my logo sitting in the middle, and we're running games.
And I'll be your water.
And
boy.
we're running games. My logo gonna be right in the middle. We're running
Oh
games.
my god! You need some water?
Pick up, baby.
me.
I'm still getting buckets. Bron Jr. Okay, all right. Last question, final question.
Jesus, another question?
The question we always end every episode with. For everyone out there listening who's trying to learn, who's trying to elevate, who's trying to improve, who's trying to go from Skye in jail to now Skye who has the opportunity to be in these rooms and know these people and open opportunities and doors, what do they need to know? What is this separator? What is the differentiator between where you were and where you are? What is that lesson that must be gathered?
I mean, we talked a lot about it. I think the one thing I would say, the one-liner, is just start. That's it. That's all I got.
That's it?
Anything you want to fucking do, anything you want to do, doesn't matter what it is. Literally does not matter. However you think you should start, just start.
Just start.
Doesn't matter. However you think you should do it, make it happen. Bro, I almost started a company that was to poop, like scoop dog poop, bro. That was my thing. I'm going to do this. That's going to happen.
Scooper.
Yeah. But it didn't happen. But my point is that, like, and I kind of, like, went all in and did all this stuff and whatever else, and I got a lot of experience from it.
Yeah.
You said skills are it, man.
Yeah.
I don't care if you just start and fail.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
You're going to learn from it.
If you have some, like, vague thing in your head, like me, I want to be on stage. But I don't know what. How am I going to be on stage?
Yeah.
What am I going to be doing on that stage? I don't know. I just started. I just did it. I was like, well, content creation.
Let's
That
get
gives you
going.
some kind of audience, right?
Yeah.
Boom.
Okay.
It's basically I get it. But, dude, like, come on, man. Because half the battle, literally more than half the battle, we talked about this already, they don't want to start.
You're intimidated.
Yes, dude.
You're intimidated. You know, I think my one thing I want to put out there, you know, I always change mine because I get the opportunity, but I think one thing that I think everyone should do, learn how to play blackjack. Real talk. You know, I'll say this last story and then we're going to get out of here. I was sitting at, this is a true story, man. I was sitting at dinner. This is a true story, man. I hope she catches
Count
this.
cards, get caught.
I was sitting at dinner. It was the last night. So the first night I made, again, I told you I think I made like 17 grand. The first night I made, I think 8. The first night I made 2. The second night I made 8. And then it was the last night I made 7 or whatever. So anyways, somewhere in that number. It was the last night, and I was sitting there with this, you know, having dinner, and there was this lady, and she was with her daughter, and she was explaining to me, we just had a combo. She was explaining to me how she saved up to go on this trip and this and that and yada, yada, yada. And I was telling her, learn how to play blackjack. Learn it. I don't care if you use your real money. Learn it on the internet. Learn it on your games. Just learn it. Understand the game. Get good at it. Play the $5, you know, play the $5 tables, you know, go in there with $50, play for an hour or two, and see if you can turn that 50 into 100. And I was telling her, and she's like, yeah, I just don't know if I could do it. And I'm like, I didn't know I could do it until I did it. And I said, trust me, trust me, trust me. And I was like, you know, learn the book, throw the book away. You know, there's a book. Everyone who's played blackjack knows about the book. Fuck the book. I don't play by the book. I know the book. I know what you should and shouldn't do. Fuck that. Use the intuition God gave you. And I was making this joke about how I double down on 12s. And anyone who knows about blackjack's probably making fun of me right now. If I feel that motherfucker, I will double down on a 12. Swear to God. So anyways, I'm giving her this speech. This is a true story, man. I'm giving some real life shit. I'm in the blackjack table at the high rollers table. And this was probably the most crazy night I've ever played blackjack in my life. It was insane. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I was killing it. I was killing it. And long story short, this night had to have been the most. I think this night was $9 grand. So take the 7 and break that into 2 other nights. Doesn't fucking matter. That night I played with $1,000. $1,000 I had won the day before. And I'm in line at the the cashier, right? I'm getting ready to cash out. I had my little, you know, my Louis purse bag, satchel, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I had all my black chips in there. And I get up to the teller, same teller who saw me the night before. The night before I made a joke. I said, hey, I got a couple chips. And I dropped, you know, a couple $1,000 worth of chips. And she's like, oh my God, you know. So I walk up and I said, hey, I got a couple chips. And then the girl standing behind me in line was the girl at the dinner. And she said, oh, how'd you do? And I looked at her. I swear to you, this is a patented moment of my life. This will be my life's highlight reel on my deathbed. I looked at her with my bag. Imagine this is my bag. How'd you do? And I just flipped it over. And she looked at me and she said, oh, I won $50 and I felt really good. And she goes, did you win all that tonight? I said, I won all that on the blackjack table tonight. And it was I think it was $9 grand. I said I paid $1,000 to play, Here's where I'm at. You need to learn blackjack. And she looked at me and she said, I'm gonna go try and learn this game. Learn fucking blackjack, man.
Yeah, but you just said you made a damn decision based off feel. So I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I'm going to double down on a 12 because I feel it.
You know, hey.
Bro, how are you learning that?
Here's the other thing.
What are you learning, dude?
But here's the other thing. If you just learn the book and play by the book, you'll make money. I'm not saying you're gonna 6x, 7x your money like I do, but eventually you will have some intuition that God gave you, and you just fucking play, man.
Yeah.
Feel the fucking game. Like, here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this because I don't want to ramble. When I'm on the basketball court, I'm not just doing the shit in the book, man. Sometimes I take some dumb shots because I feel it. And you know what happens when that bitch goes in? I say, yo, I'm him. I'm breaded right now. I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain it. I just felt like that motherfucker was going to go in. So you know what I did? I shot it. I felt like I was cash, so I let it go cash. Straight up.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Travis, episode 1, he went to come hoop with me. I don't know if anybody knows the story. It was on my Instagram. Tore his Achilles playing with me.
You can't keep this guy.
I'm him. But I appreciate all you guys for watching this episode of Student of the Game podcast. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment all of your feedback about how terrible his answers were. And we appreciate you guys. Make sure you check out his podcast. Give us your info to your podcast.
Yeah, man. The Toasty Podcast on all podcast platforms. And then me, I'm just the real Skye Day everywhere you get your social media. So
Nice. Well, appreciate you guys. Make sure you tune in next week. Thanks so much for your time.
peace.